What's up everybody, it's Critical. I've been getting asked a ton over the last 5 or so months, or however long I've been streaming on YouTube, why I don't stream on Twitch. I do stream on Twitch occasionally with my friends, but I get asked why I don't solo stream on Twitch. So I figured I might as well make a video addressing that question. It's because I don't like Twitch. Now I know me saying that may be very disturbing to some of you. It probably elicits the same response as if you tell a child Santa Claus isn't real, nothing but shock and disgust. How can you not like Twitch? It's the best website on the internet with a staff that truly understands its users and looks out for their well-being. It takes us to school and packs our lunch. It really knows us and it wants us to do well in the world. Well, let me explain why I don't like Twitch, and please don't misinterpret this as me standing up for YouTube streaming. I have never, and probably never will, stand up for YouTube because they just don't know who the fuck is using their platform or how to make this website any better. It's like that uncle that buys you shit you don't want for Christmas and you don't know what to do with it except wipe your fucking ass with it. But when it comes to streaming, I think YouTube is the more fair streaming service. I do think Twitch is the superior platform though. It's a lot easier to find new content creators there. It's really easy to navigate the sections on Twitch and find all types of different shit. Whereas on YouTube, it's a very counterintuitive design. It's really hard to find new things. You have to pretty much fucking jack into the FBI mainframe, extrapolate a whole bunch of data, walk it through an ANOVA test and SPSS. All types of stupid fucking hoops you have to jump through to find anything. It's very poorly designed. But YouTube fucks everyone equally. In terms of streaming, in terms of content creation, YouTube just fucks everyone uniformly. Everyone gets the same amount of fuck. They're like a tidal wave of fucking. Nobody is safe if they're in that tidal wave. But on Twitch, it's like a geostorm contraption of fucking. It targets people to fuck that they don't agree with, whereas other people can just get a pass. They don't follow their own rules. YouTube has these rules, albeit very vague, but they adhere to them and they fuck everyone the same based on those rules, whereas Twitch has these rules and it doesn't fuck everyone the same. It favors the female streamers that show a lot of titties, camel toes, and ass. As I said, Twitch's motto, no camel toe, time to go. So if you go on to the mess that is the IRL section, it's predominantly dominated by female streamers pretty much flashing tits and doing squats for subs. Here's a good example. This is a streamer named Pink Sparkles. She even self-admits to being a titty streamer, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But Twitch's rules prohibit something like this. They explicitly say no overtly sexual behavior. If you're labeling yourself a titty streamer, doesn't that kind of indicate the nature of your content is overtly sexual? And that's all the content there is. She doesn't do anything. This whole stream was her just kind of wiggling around out of her seat, doing squats occasionally, and mainly just eating a fucking sandwich, while her chat room, which consists of very sad, lonely men and underage boys, were on the edge of their seat. Oh, come on, finish that sandwich for me, baby girl. Oh, I'm about to come right out of my nipples. Is that a squat? I see butt cheek. Holy shit, those are ass cheeks. And poopy leaves from the train station that's in the middle of the ass cheeks. This is incredible. To me, it's sad, but I don't really have a problem with the streams themselves. I don't think they're quality content or anything, but people are going to like different things, and that's something everyone has to accept. I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is the Twitch staff when it comes to this. They have this rule. They should at least be commenting on it. If they truly believe that these aren't overtly sexual, they should explain why they're not. But they don't do that, and instead they'll go and ban male streamers who accidentally maybe slip up and show a picture of a boobie. Whereas these streamers a lot of times will have nip slips, show their whole pussy, and nothing happens to them. Which is odd because the Twitch staff is so ban hungry they ban people for almost no reason. There was a man that I watched who wore a tank top that accidentally showed his nipple on stream, and he was banned for an overtly sexual stream. Permanently banned for that. I also saw someone get banned because they got punched in the chest on stream. They didn't plan to get punched on the chest, but they got banned for self-harm because they put themselves in the way of that fist. That's like some Bushido samurai type shit for punishment. You didn't block the sword with your hand. Go into the punishment room and take 3 fingers off of your left hand now. Twitch plays favorites. They treat their site like it's fucking camsoda.com. And there's a lot of these streamers that show a lot of cleavage and just do very sexual streams to just get a lot of money out of the sad men watching them that have gone on stream and said they will never get banned because Twitch staff is basically in their pocket. Here's a clip from one of them.
Report stream. Lulz. You know those reports go in the trash, right? Twitch staff told me so. Just saying. You're just wasting your time.
Thank you, Gal Gadoosh, for being honest with all of us here. This stream has a dedicated ass cam and vagina cam. I don't know how you could possibly defend this not being overly sexual. Even she seems to realize it is, but knows that there's not going to be any repercussions because Twitch staff likes her and they jerk off to her streams. I've mentioned Hassan before because he's the most famous example of the Twitch staff favoritism. His old following list was nothing but titty streamers for the most part, so I imagine he had like 8 different monitors, each with a different titty stream up, just taking it all in and enjoying his masturbatorium. All of this that I've said, I really wouldn't have a problem with if they would enforce the rules fairly. Just today, for example, a streamer by the name of Trainwrecks got banned for 5 days because he did some really dumb, stupid sounding speech that sounded like something you'd read on the r/incel subreddit. I'm assuming it was a joke, but it was still a really shitty joke. It was like some Braveheart shit. You can take our land, but you can't take our virginities. That we'll hold on to. And he also called out a streamer by the name of ST Peach. And the assumption is he got banned for calling her out because one of Twitch's rules is you can't really insult other streamers. It's against their rules. So he got banned, and I agree, he should have been banned. It was clearly against the rules. But ST Peach did the same thing. She started insulting Trainwreck's girlfriend and his relationship with his girlfriend and everything about Trainwrecks, and she didn't get banned. So clearly there's a discrepancy there where she's just above the rules because she's hot. And that's very clear. There's countless examples I could give, but I'm not going to go into more. I think I've ranted long enough, and I've made it very clear that Twitch staff plays favorites, and that many of the streamers are just above the rules. I don't want to be on a platform like that. I feel like it's a platform run by middle school children who've never seen boobies before. It's just a platform that has no fairness to it. And I'm not saying YouTube is the ideal pinnacle of fairness, because it's absolutely not. But at least YouTube isn't bending the knee to hot girls. Everyone is getting fucked all the same. And there's a certain comfort to that because you know that you are not being singled out because they don't like you. You're getting fucked because they're fucking everybody. And that's why I prefer YouTube. It's at least a little bit more fair than Twitch. So hopefully that clears up why I don't stream on Twitch solo and prefer to do it here on YouTube. So yeah. The title's not clickbait. There was a new policy on Twitch that was announced today that will legitimately destroy the platform, with the majority of streamers choosing to go elsewhere if it goes into effect. Now, this was announced like 3 or 4 hours ago, but I decided to wait a little bit to see what Twitch would respond with because the backlash has been considerable. Everyone is rightfully furious about this, and I just kind of wanted to let it all simmer, let Twitch kind of marinate in this witch's cauldron here and see how they would respond to all of it. So I went and played basketball, which is why I'm very sweaty right now, and I've just got home, and it turns out they did respond. I expected them to respond with something like, "Our sincerest apologies. Earlier this afternoon, we were coming down with a severe case of big fucking idiot disease. Turns out one of our employees replaced our water with plutonium and stupid juice, so we had radioactive brain rot when we came up with this idea. We're scrapping it. We're sorry." That's what I expected. But they went in a different direction. They went with a very pathetic attempt to save face and backpedal. So we're just going to go over this whole situation from top to bottom here. It was revealed today that Twitch has put sponsored content and branded content in their crosshairs to try and fucking slap. So formats permitted with the new guidelines on branded content on Twitch are logos on stream. So branded overlays are limited to 3% of screen size at most. So any branded overlays can only be 3% of screen size. That means like if you have a G Fuel sponsorship or something, you can only have like G Fuel in the 3% of your screen area. You can no longer have burned in video ads, meaning you can't play like your own ads during it or ads of another brand that's working with you. You also can't have display ads, so like banner ads, which is a big one because a lot of sponsored game streams require banner ads, which completely removes that, which is a huge hit to most streamers. We'll get into the specifics in a moment. And then you can't have audio ads played during streams. Now they clarify what is allowed, which is branded panels on the channel page or showcasing products in the stream background or links to other sites that promote things, discussing, endorsing, or unboxing products, and playing sponsored games. The last one's a little silly considering that when you play sponsored games, part of that package almost always includes at least one of the things that is now forbidden with the new policy changes they're toying around with. Now all of these are huge changes. A lot of streamers have talked about this, I've talked about this. The vast majority of revenue a streamer generates is through sponsorships, whether it's sponsored game deals for like X amount of hours streaming a game, or just ancillary partnerships with other brands that you will promote during your stream. That's where the majority of streamers' revenue comes from. Like almost all of the top 500 streamers, that is their biggest driver of revenue. Subs and donations are a small part compared to sponsorships. So Twitch targeting that is like the only decision they could make that legitimately would drive all of their top 500 streamers elsewhere if they can no longer pursue partnerships comfortably on the platform. This is a platform destroying moment. This is up there with Tumblr banning porn, or that day that OnlyFans decided they were going to ban porn. It is it's Armageddon for the platform. This would sink Twitch, without exaggeration. Let's talk about some more specific examples. Tournaments, video game tournaments, or even just any general events could no longer function on Twitch because for those tournaments to exist, they have sponsors. And as part of those sponsorship packages, the events, like a Smash event or a Valorant event, are obligated to play those sponsored ads during the event, which has now entered Santa Claus's naughty list here on Twitch. It's illegal. You're going to the fucking slammer, you're going to jail if you play a sponsored ad during your stream from these policy changes. So let's take, for example, Valorant. Valorant has an eBay deal. So during intermission in between games and Valorant broadcasts, they play eBay ads. Not anymore. Not anymore, Buster. You can't do that shit yet, you outlaw. Listen here, Bubba. No more of that shit. Now, there's something very interesting to note here is that YouTube actually has a similar policy that a lot of people are bringing up to compare the two right now. But Twitch's enforcement and the way that they spoke about it seems very different than the enforcement of YouTube. And from everything I've read, YouTube doesn't really enforce this policy even at all to begin with. It's just kind of there as a blanket in case things get exploited or misused. But either way, there is something comparable on YouTube, but not nearly as egregious or as frightening as what Twitch is proposing. Now, when this policy change first got announced, we immediately tried reaching out to as many people as possible for some clarity because the way that it reads seems like it's going to have a massively detrimental impact on our esports org, Moist Esports, thanks to the way we do our watch parties. And from all of the information we've gathered, it seems like we're in some fucking hot water there, which is not good. Opera GX sponsors our esports team, and as part of that sponsorship deal, during our watch parties when we're cheering on our teams, we play our own custom Opera GX ads that we made ourselves with green screen, like where I'm a pirate or a fisherman, those kind of really goofy over-the-top ads, we play those. But now that whole concept is more forbidden than human transmutation in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. We can't do that anymore, which is a huge hit to our esports org, since Opera GX pays us under the expectation that we're also going to be doing those ads during our watch parties, which we can't do anymore. We also have a banner ad for Opera GX during the watch parties, which we can't use anymore. So the main two things Opera GX is sponsoring our esports org for is been banished to the fucking Shadow Realm. So what are they paying us for if we're to continue doing watch parties on Twitch? And it's entirely out of our control. It's not like we're choosing not to fulfill our obligations with Opera GX. Twitch just wouldn't allow us to, or else my channel would get banned on Twitch for doing so, I imagine. Now, Opera GX has been an extraordinary partner. I don't think they'd actually drop us for it, but they would have every reason to, because they wouldn't be able to get what they were paying for with our esports org and our watch parties anymore because Twitch isn't allowing it in its current state, at least not as it stands from their first pass of this policy. It's just so fucked up. Now, it's not just, our esports org or, top streamers or anything like that. It's any streamer that would pursue sponsorships, which is a lot of them. Big and small streamers, all of them alike, do rely on sponsorships. And this hits everybody equally. It fucks everyone in the face all the same. It is an extremely greedy and corrupt, degenerate decision from Twitch. It is fucking disgusting. It's definitely worth mentioning that I have seen some arguments being made where Twitch might follow YouTube's example here and won't enforce it strictly. Like they might just reserve this policy for bad actors only. And I guess that is entirely possible, but there's just no way of knowing. We just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But there's very clear ways this could be implemented that hurts every single person who uses the platform. And personally, I feel the reason why they're even making this policy update in the first place isn't necessarily to follow suit with YouTube or something as like a fallback protocol in case there's bad actors misusing branded content somewhere. I feel the reason they're doing it is to try and push all their streamers to do everything through Twitch. Do all of their sponsorships through their sponsorship programs. That way they can get a cut of everything. That's how I interpret all this. That's how I feel the motivation behind it is misguided, it's mismanaged, it's completely lost, it's geriatric, it's run by octogenarians, it's out of touch, and it is desperate. It is desperately trying to get its grubby little fingers, just plant these little piggies in each pie that happens on their platform. And that comes right out of the streamer's income. We've already seen them do that with the sub revenue, where they're dropping everyone to 50-50 sub revenue forever, non-negotiable. And now they're doing it for sponsorships because on Twitch, all streamers, a lot of them are doing sponsorships. And when they do, Twitch sees nothing from it. They don't get any portion of sponsorships done by streamers on their platform, and that makes them furious. They got steam coming out of their ears. So this is their attempt to try and force streamers to comply with Twitch's ad incentive program or their branded content program, such as like the Twitch Bounty Board. The Twitch Bounty Board works kind of like a sponsorship where companies have approached Twitch to do like sponsored game deals, and streamers can go into their bounty board, click and see what's there, and then choose to take a deal where they're getting paid X amount of dollars for X amount of hours. And if they do that, Twitch gets a large portion of that income. To me, it just seems like the direction Twitch is going is do everything through us or else. It's only been 2 months since they made this announcement where they're testing new experiences to connect streamers and brands through their sponsored streaming network that they're creating. So it just seems like since Twitch offers this program, it seems like this policy change was supposed to scare streamers away from partnering with brands outside of Twitch's ecosystem here, because Twitch doesn't make any money if you get a brand deal outside of this program, whereas if you use Twitch here for their sponsored streams, Twitch makes money from it. Twitch is really trying to monopolize streamers' income, and this is something Mr. Beast just mentioned on Twitter as well. Twitch just wants to make sure that if any money is generated on their platform, they get a piece of that pie. They want that cake. They're gluttonous, and they're willing to sink as low as humanly possible to get it. It's sickening. This doesn't just affect individual streamers. Like I mentioned, it affects anyone that wants to do events on their platform as well. So let's do another example. Smash tournaments. Smash tournaments rely entirely on sponsorship revenue, like a Papa John's ad or something like that. All of it. All of their money comes from sponsorships, which means banner ads, large screen built-in ads during broadcasts, and even just full commercials during their broadcasts during intermissions. All of those things are no longer allowed if this policy goes through as written. That ruins every single gaming event that happens on Twitch right now, and generally just every single event ever. So like a music festival. Music festival is another great example. Music festivals rely heavily on sponsors too. If you watch a music festival that sometimes get broadcast on Twitch, you'll notice they have their own built-in ads as well that they'll play sometimes, depending on which one you're watching. That's no longer allowed either. So should this policy be pushed through the gates of fucking Mordor here and make it to the platform, every single event organizer is going to leave Twitch because they legitimately will not be able to run on Twitch anymore if they can't play ads from their sponsors. And sponsors aren't going to give money to people or events if they can't have their brand be showcased, like with a banner ad or a normal commercial. If they can't get anything out of it, why the fuck would any of these brands sponsor anything on the platform? It's not going to happen. So all of the event organizers are probably going to go to places like Kick or YouTube, and I imagine most of the streamers will be going to other platforms as well, at least part-time. They won't fully invest in Twitch anymore because it's not safe or reliable to do so. Again, Twitch themselves have said, like, most streamers are getting most of their money through sponsorships, and now Twitch is hitting sponsorships. Like, they're reducing their ability to make money through sponsorships, like directly impacting them, even after recognizing how important that is to the ecosystem. So most streamers, there will be a mass exodus, I imagine. A lot of streamers have already said that they're going to do that on Twitter in response to this. So streamers are going to go to other platforms so that way they can continue to have these sponsorship opportunities. Like, Twitch is really on the deathbed here. This policy change is the end of the platform if it goes through. Now, I've said this, I've been very open about it. When my Twitch contract ends, and I am doing my best to try and end it early, when it ends, I will be going to other platforms to stream, just to test them all out. I'll still be streaming on Twitch occasionally, but like we can't even do our watch parties there anymore, which is a big thing that I love to do. So I would like to try streaming on YouTube, for example, which is why I turned on memberships on YouTube here, just in case. So it's one of those things where this is something that will destroy the platform. And Twitch must have recognized that because they did put out a follow-up statement about an hour ago here. And I think it's trash. I think it is a terrible response. Today's branded content policy update was overly broad. This created confusion and frustration, and we apologize for that. We do not intend to limit streamers' ability to enter into direct relationships with sponsors, and we understand that this is an important part of how streamers earn revenue. We wanted to clarify our existing ads policy that was intended to prohibit third-party and networks from selling burned-in video and display ads on Twitch, which is consistent with other services. We missed the mark with the policy language and will rewrite the guidelines to be clearer. Thank you for sharing your concerns, and we appreciate the feedback. We'll notify the community once we've updated the language. What a load of horseradish. This is some sour fucking mustard here. Basically just saying, we're sorry you misunderstood us. Yeah, we must use too many big words for your simpleton minds, and it led to too much confusion, so we're sorry for that. We'll make sure to dumb it down into layman's terms going forward. Well, that's just not the case. It's not like you put out a broad statement that had a lot of misinterpretation or misconstruing of the information. You laid out pictures. Like, you literally made it as simple and specific as possible, down to exact percentages of how much it could take up on screen. 3%. That's not broad. Like, you specifically laid it all out with fucking pictures. Like, I don't know why they're trying to play this angle that it was just too broad and confusing and people misunderstood it. You made it clear what your intention was. I don't think there was any misunderstanding here. This is just a really sad attempt to try and save face, like, oh, no, we didn't mean what you guys are saying. No, we meant something totally different. Brother, you laid out a picture book of the new policy changes. Like, it doesn't get more clear than that. Now, again, this is just very obvious backpedaling here, but at least just own it. Just be like, hey, guys, look, we fucked up. We're lost. We don't know what we're doing at Twitch, guys. Look, everything's on fire over here. Employees are getting let go left and right. Our CEO's 96 years old. He's a fucking fossil. Like, we just don't know what's going on. You know, we can't steer the ship correctly, so we fucked up with this idea. We're just desperately trying to get a couple more doubloons out of the platform and don't know how. Like, at least that would have been honest. As opposed to going down this path where it's like, sorry, it was confusing and you guys didn't understand us. And then the ultimate cherry on top of the shit cake is they still, in their response, don't explain what they're doing. They're still not explaining what the new policy is doing. They're just saying, okay, we'll rewrite it. Okay, but so what did we get wrong? What did we misunderstand then? The only thing they add even a little bit of clarity to is that it's supposed to target third-party ad networks. Like, I suppose there's some companies that have programs that will pump branded content onto some streams, and it kind of competes with Twitch's own built-in display ads. It's something I've never heard of and had to do some serious digging to find because it's not exactly a prevalent issue on the platform from everything I'm reading, but there are a couple of companies that will pump their own ads onto streamers' streams, like burn in ads onto their streams. And when those pop up during a stream, that makes money for that third-party company, not Twitch, and sometimes the streamer gets a kickback from that as well, but it's not like a true sponsorship partnership deal. It's like a ad network having their own, basically having their own display ads on Twitch without it being Twitch display ads, if that makes any sense. It's very niche. Like, if that truly was what they are trying to target, this is a very overblown response and exaggerated reaction to it. They went nuclear on it with this whole song and dance they've made out of it. It's very clear Twitch wants to facilitate every sponsorship deal through their platform so they get a cut of it. They've announced like the ad incentive program, as well as they even have their own new branded content program to get sponsorships through them, and they get a portion of all of that. So they want to make sure that streamers are kind of coerced into using those programs so that way Twitch can get more money out of them, as opposed to having their own agents, their own managers, or their own connections to these brands to work directly with them, where Twitch doesn't see any money from those sponsorships. It's very clear why they want to do this. It's just a fucked up thing to do. And it ruins the whole platform by trying to implement this policy because no one's going to stay there. There's competition. Twitch isn't the only platform for streaming. You can go elsewhere, and many streamers will and are actively. Even with a full walk back here and they like completely just eat shit publicly and say like, look, we're not going down this path anymore. Everything's going to stay the same. You can still do sponsorships, no problem. Even if they do that, the trust is gone. Most streamers are still going to look elsewhere because Twitch has shown their hand. They've shown their whole ass here. Twitch is more than comfortable not only taking money away from streamers' sub-revenue, but just taking money away from streamers in general across the board, even on things they have no part in, which is sponsorships. Like, if a creator gets their own sponsorship, they should have full reign, full rights to do whatever they want with it when streaming. Twitch shouldn't be getting a cut of sponsorship deals that you yourself are getting, or your manager or team or whatever is getting. That is outrageous. That is such a fucking overreach, and it's disgusting. The greed has single-handedly destroyed Twitch. I don't know how it bounces back. Like, the reputation is beyond ruined. And like I mentioned, even if a full walk back on everything here takes place, I still see a ton of streamers streaming elsewhere. Maybe not full-time, but they'll dip their toes into plenty of other platforms just to try them out because it's not safe to commit fully to being on Twitch. There's no reason to be exclusive on Twitch anymore. That's just not something most people will want to do going forward, I bet. So yeah, I just want to talk about this a little bit. That's it. So, yeah. Twitch is a platform that's no stranger to evolution. And I think we've entered into a new phase in this blossoming butterfly of a streaming service. Now, I know for a lot of people, Twitch is mainly like a gaming platform, but it's gone through so many different changes that it's more than that now. There's huge events that are hosted there, really high quality productions, IRL streams. A lot of different content is on Twitch these days. And when you think of Twitch now, the first thing you think of isn't always going to be gaming. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to drag you kicking and screaming into the future, because a pioneer has just arisen to really showcase the power of technology. Now, the censoring on her butthole was done by me. I felt I had to, just to make sure that this video would be safe to be uploaded. But make no mistake, while live, it was not censored at all. This was the director's cut. Full-blown poop shoot action. Barely covered by, like, the tiniest string of fabric. So last night while I was streaming, chat was telling me that I should check out her stream because they wanted my opinion on if it was breaking Twitch terms of service, like I'm some kind of fucking hall monitor for Twitch. And it just piqued my curiosity, so I checked it out. Her name is Strawberry Tabby, and she was one of the most popular streamers last night while I was on. She was playing Valorant at the time, but she had been live for 5 hours streaming. And I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that this was the setup. So there's the torso cam for, like, the titties, like, so it's mainly, like, honkers and a very tight bikini, and then a totally separate camera just for butthole. A pure ass cam. And then, like, a very tiny box for gameplay. Now, when I was made aware of this, I was joking about it, and at some point during the stream, she went on, like, a phone call for a brief moment and then came back with a changed set of bottoms. So it seems like she must have got a call from someone at Twitch letting her know that her previous garments weren't acceptable. So she changed into the folds and everything. Like, it's still, like, you can still see all of it, but there's a little bit more covering towards the crack, like the ass crack top of it. And I couldn't help but just laugh. For a while now, there's been this arms race on Twitch with sexual content where creators have found that it makes a lot of money to do sexual content on Twitch and it builds a huge audience. So they're constantly trying to push boundaries for what Twitch will allow. And Twitch just doesn't crack down hard on it themselves. Like, the most you'll ever see a creator get banned for these type of streams is like 3 days. There was a creator who fully goatsied herself bare ass on stream and she got a 3-day ban. There was another streamer who just fully had sex on stream and only got a 3-day ban. So there's no real risk associated with trying this, and you stand to gain a lot of money from it. So it's not like I'm even mad at her or anything. It's really a don't hate the player, hate the game situation, because Twitch doesn't really do much about it, thus it must be okay with their policies. But anyway, I just wanted to show you some of the clips from last night where I was going through this in real time. And just to give you an update on where things are at this morning, she received a ban, which I'm not taking responsibility for. It's not my fault. That you can't blame me, Coomers. I know there's a lot of angry gooners that think I was the reason she got banned, but I am innocent in this. I, like all of you, was just watching the content, and that was it. I didn't report her or anything. Oh my god. Okay, there's one guy in the chat, and he keeps saying, have you seen, I won't say the streamer's name, stream. She's got her whole ass out, and I was like, there's no way. So I go to the stream, and she's playing Valorant in this really tiny box. She has 2 camera angles, one on her, like, torso in, like, a really tiny string bikini, and one on her backside that's focused on her asshole. It's like a colonoscopy cam where she's wearing, like, a very, very tiny thong. And then the Valorant gameplay is, like, right up here on her back, very tiny. That is so aggressive. And I'm reading the chat, there's just one guy in all caps saying, fix the camera. Because I'm guessing what happened is it tilted a little bit up from her ass crack. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. She's fixing it. Obviously, I'm not gonna fucking pull this up on stream. This seems a little much even for Twitch. This is absolutely wild. Like, when she moves, you can literally see, like, her anus creases. Like, she has 6,600 viewers. She's a very popular streamer. I've definitely seen her name before. Oiled Up, too. Yeah, Oiled Up as well. It's not worth the risk. It is absolutely... One wrong move and her whole butthole flies out. It's just not worth the risk for me to pull it up. Okay, you know what, it's worth the risk. I'm gonna try. Because there's like this weird toy hammer that goes on her stream if you move your mouse over it. Okay, it's on Twitch. Surely it's okay, right? You would think? Here, we're gonna go like this. No way I make that work. And she's moving right now. Like her... There's no way. There's no way I make that work. But I mean, it's literally one of the biggest streams on Twitch right now, so it's got to be okay with their rules. What does the hammer do, Charlie? I don't know, but that's why I thought I could maybe censor it with the hammer, but it just doesn't work. We're gooning together. Okay, you need help, brother. I'm in there for the Valorant gameplay. Yeah, you and me both. That's why we're all there. No, I mean, good for her. If Twitch is okay with it, fucking let the hustle ride. But every time she moves her ass closer to the camera, it legitimately feels like we're about to do a deep dive colon cam. It is incredibly close range. I can see hair follicles. It's like looking at her ass through a microscope. So it's a high quality asshole cam. It's 8K. She's definitely got a black magic cam just for her ass. Like, if she gets goosebumps, you'll be able to see each individual one. She's filming her ass with an IMAX camera. Yeah, she's making it so it's compatible with the big screen. She's using the same technology they used to film Oppenheimer. Is she good at the game? I don't know. I wasn't looking at the gameplay. I have no clue. I haven't the foggiest. I can actually see her asshole. Like, her actual asshole. Like, legit, no, like, it's not even covered anymore. I can see each fold. And there's one guy, that guy in the chat, I think it's the same guy who was like, fix your cam. I just saw him celebrate. He said, come on, fudge. I don't know what that means, but he's excited, so I'm excited for him. I censored, do you want to... Yeah, thank you, Edgar. Can you send me the censor so that way I can at least pull up what it looks like? That's a good idea. I didn't even think to screenshot it. Yeah, send me the censored screenshot. This is... I think we just witnessed the birth of the new meta here. Is this okay to show? I mean, it was censored, and it's one of the biggest streams on Twitch, and she's been a big streamer for a long time, so I'm guessing it's fine. I hope. Imagine I'm the one who gets in trouble. Moist Critical, we found you were in violation of Twitch's nudity policy. For that, you'll be receiving a 30-day suspension. Camera is so clear, we'll actually see her farts. That's what I was saying, like, that camera is unreal. Like, she legitimately might be using a black magic for that. You would actually see the fart fumes come out. Like a cartoon. Hats off to the gooner who blew the lid on that operation, because that was fascinating. And she still has, like, the kiddie pool in the background, so that way she plays by the pools and hot tubs rule. It's a Walmart flamingo kiddie pool. She got up and left, so I'm guessing, like, one of her Twitch contacts told her that it was a little much after 5 hours worth. Interesting timing on that. You made her change clothes. Oh, fuck, that one guy who was talking about here comes the fudge and fix the cam in all caps is gonna be livid. He had his whole night ruined. The hog was not fully squeezed and that man is going to be inconsolable. Why do you have resubscribe? Because someone gifted me a sub. You just created your own version of the Joker. Yeah, that one desperate coomer. Damn. How dare you? But also, there's no reason to go into DEF CON, by the way, Gooners. The panic was unwarranted. All she did was change into a different, lower bikini bottom. So instead of having, like, a small piece of paper there stuck in her ass cheeks, she's now got, like, a normal bikini that she's wedgied herself with. So, it's not all bad. He'll probably still enjoy it. Just one short week ago, everything we thought we knew changed forever. It was like when Albert Einstein came up with the theory of relativity. It's all been shaken now. I still remember the glory days before August 29th, 2022, living in an ignorant bliss, naive to how corrupt Twitch had become with their enforcement of their own rules. That's right, August 29th is a date that will go down in infamy as the day that Twitch showed its true face and brought with it a catastrophe, a devastating Coombs Day, when a streamer got fucked live on Twitch and Twitch responded with the lightest ban of all time. I already talked about this in a video, but I wanted to follow up because they've decided to stick with their initial decision of a 7-day ban. So a week ago now, a streamer by the name of Kimika had sex live on Twitch, while an entire marching band clapped and cheered her on in the chat. It was about 100 concurrent viewers at the time. I don't know if the coitus actually reached its climax. I couldn't tell you because she got banned before anyone finished, except for some of the people in the chat, I'm sure. But overall, a very successful stream because normally she averages like 20 viewers, and this one, it was triple digits. So she got paid a visit by old Saint Nicholas, and it was broadcast live on Twitch, and she paid the iron price. She got banned. And you would expect that Twitch would crack down pretty hard on it, since this is their #1 golden rule that you can't bend and you cannot break. Streamers have been banned for months if they wore clothing that was too revealing. So having full-blown, cheek-clapping, ham-steaming sex on Twitch, you would expect there to be some pretty big consequences, a permanent ban. But that wasn't the case. Twitch decided to not even give like a slap on the wrist. They gave just a playful little tap on the tuchus. They gave her a 7-day ban, and now she's back to streaming, and her return stream has been her biggest stream ever, clocking in at 800 viewers at one point, blowing her previous numbers out of the water, and skyrocketing her follower count from 30 to right around 2K right now, 2 to 4K. For some reason, I'm getting mixed data. On Twitch, it shows 2K, but on some of the Twitch tracking sites, it shows 4K. But regardless, she's had a massively positive gain from this whole thing. Alright, thanks to Caleb and I doing some super sleuthing, we've cracked the case. The reason why there's a big follower discrepancy as well as peak viewership discrepancy is because she had 2 accounts. On one of her accounts, she broadcast the gland-to-gland combat, and this is the account that gained 4,000 followers. The account with 4K followers, she closed, but she did a comeback stream on there, and there is still some clip evidence of it. So here you can see her most viewed clips are from September 4th, the comeback stream, 27,000 views, which is significantly more than she was getting before the penis meets vagina incident. And she gained a lot from it. Not only on Twitch, but one of her socials gained 100,000 followers on there. So just an absolutely genius marketing strategy to just fuck on Twitch and just profit. And she closed this account, like I said, she threw it away like a crusty cum towel. However, she does have another account that's still active, and I'm imagining is the one she's going to be using going forward, and that's the account that's gained 2,000 followers, and it's also an affiliate because you can subscribe to it. I don't know if it was an affiliate pre-coitus or post-coitus, I'm really not sure. I can't imagine Twitch banned her and then rewarded her for having sex with an affiliate deal, but who knows? Twitch seems so mismanaged when it comes to their rules, it's baffling. But what I want to talk about is what this means going forward. Twitch has set a precedent with this. And it's not just this, there's been plenty of other examples, but this is by far their biggest because it was just blatantly having sex live on Twitch, which so far hasn't been done before outside of just rebroadcasting porn. This was a streamer having sex live, and Twitch's response was a very light ban. So what does this mean? This means that any streamer going forward might honestly consider this as an actual tactic for growth. This was only her 8th stream ever, I think. I was going through all of her previous broadcasts, and I'm pretty sure this was her 8th stream. She had only streamed, I think, 24 hours in total across her entire streaming career until she fucked. And once she did that, that's when she had all of this massive growth from it. Prior to this incident, she would get between 20 and 50 viewers per stream. After this incident, so far she's only had 1 stream, but she never dropped under like 150. So it was extremely successful. It really does feel like a viable strategy for Twitch, since it seems like they don't care that much about it. So if I was writing a WikiHow guide on gaining followers on Twitch, this would be on the list of best practices. Just full-blown fuck. Get your back blown out on Twitch and take a 7-day vacation, come back to more viewers, more money, more followers. It's like an actual life hack. Want to get Twitch famous and become a big live streamer? Just have sex on cam. You'll be shocked at how well it works. Doctors don't want you to know this one simple trick. It's really just pretty sad. There are people that have been banned for so long for such little things. Again, Gideon is still permanently banned for one instance of bad behavior on rating another streamer with mean words, and yet somehow the biggest possible sin you can commit on Twitch is only a 7-day ban and is nothing but rewarding for the streamer that did it. It's just crazy. Their priorities are so out of whack, none of it makes any sense whatsoever. I would love for them to explain how this constituted only a 7-day ban. And I do genuinely wonder if this will become a more popular trend after people see how successful this was for Kimika. So yeah, I mean, I just wanted to talk about this a little bit because I was absolutely blown away. I was expecting Twitch to not unban her, just quietly make it a permaban instead of making a big song and dance out of it, but no, it seems like they're pretty adamant that having sex on their service is not that big of an issue. So, oh well, that's really about it. See ya. Recently, Twitch has been wow, I got out of the shower like a little less than half an hour ago, and I am looking like someone's mom in an anime. Holy shit. Watch so much fucking anime, I'm turning into a character. Anyway, Twitch has been making a lot of mistakes. Recently, Paymoney Wubby made an extraordinary video talking about some of the big mistakes they've made, and I wanted to kind of expand on that and talk about something a little more in particular. How the Twitch bans and the moderation team lead to a culture on Twitch that both promotes degeneracy and instills fear in both users and streamers. Now, I stream pretty much daily at twitch.tv/moistcritical. Come stop by if you want to put a few extra inches on your penis. And yesterday during a stream, I said the word Jaeger when talking about Jaeger bombs, which is alcohol related. But immediately after I said that, the chat filled with ban, terms of service, shit like that. And the reason for that is because the Twitch mod team have banned a bunch of streamers for innocent words that they misheard as the N-word or other racist or bad words. So it's created this culture where people are constantly hearing racist words out of innocent words, which is absolutely frustrating and fucked up. Quick examples being League of Legends streamer TF Blade said fucking idiot one time, and he said it fast and they thought he said the N-word, so they banned him. I think he was banned for a total of a week, maybe a little less before they realized their mistake, but that's a week of just taking away his income. But not only does that take away his career for a week, totally off of something they misheard, it completely tanks his reputation for that week because there were articles written about this professional player being racist and saying the N-word, and it's not what he said. It was totally misheard by the Twitch team, so that ruins his brand image, that ruins his potential on the team. That's a huge deal. A League of Legends streamer named Penguinz0 said the word yikers, and he was banned for 30 days. And I actually don't think his ban ever got lifted, by the way. So his entire Twitch career was uprooted because they misheard a word he said. So anytime a word ends in like a G-E-R or a G-A-R, the fucking streamer runs the risk of getting banned, even if it's a totally innocent word like Jaeger. And this has trained the community, fucking Pavlovian style, to immediately assume the most racist shit all the time. When I said Jaeger, a bunch of people in chat started spamming some racist shit, question marks, banned, terms of service. You know how fucking frustrating that is? They're training their community to be racist, constantly hearing the N-word and other really awful slurs and horrible things when that's not the word that was used. So streamers have to fully articulate each and every word for fear of the Twitch moderation team, which is fully unknown, by the way. They're like the fucking Illuminati. There's not a single name on the entire moderation team that is public. By the way, just throwing that out there, they're fucking cowards and don't put their names on some of the shit work they do for the company and the reputation that they ruin and wipe their ass with. Just wanted to get that out there. But you have to be afraid of these power-hungry losers because these are the ones that control your income. They control your career. If you're a full-time streamer, you are fully at the mercy and have to grovel at the feet of this faceless loser team of moderators that are constantly jerking off their power, just getting hard off banning people, it feels like, because their bans are totally random and there's no communication and there's never any repercussions because these people aren't publicly named. Look at any other position at Twitch, partner manager, any level at Twitch, you can find those people. They proudly promote that they are that position at Twitch, but you can't find that for anyone that controls the bans. I've talked to a lot of people at Twitch, and everyone I've ever communicated with at Twitch has been nothing but wonderful, kind, helpful. I really have had nothing but a positive experience with the people I can and have talked to at Twitch. But it's the people you can't talk to, this moderation team, this fucking Discord HQ wumpus infiltrated team of moderators at Twitch, that's the problem. They're degenerates that you can't communicate with and don't care about you. They can ban you on a Thursday, and since they take weekends off, just unban you on a Monday and take away 3 days of income just for fun. And there's nothing you can do about it. That is totally within their power if they felt like doing that. I've never been banned on Twitch for any length of time, but I'm pretty sure that's going to change after posting this video, because I feel like the Twitch mod team is vindictive. I know that the Twitch team watches some of the videos that criticize them, and I think that behavior is very healthy for a company to open themselves up to criticism and see what the community has to say. But I worry for the way the mod team responds to it, because there have been cases where it feels like the mod team went out of their way to find things to ban them for. There have been cases where streamers got banned for a VOD that was months old at a very obscure point in the VOD where there is a single frame of a single pixel of a single tip of a penis that exists for a split second, and they get banned temporarily for that. It just seems like they really do try and find ways to ban streamers that they may not like. But to be fair, they don't have to do that. They can literally ban you for no reason. Like in Pay Money Wubby's case, they banned him and then just outright admitted it was a mistake 5 days later. They can absolutely ruin careers on Twitch for no reason and never have anything happen. They're not at risk of losing their position. They're not at risk of anyone coming up and, reporting it, because you don't know how to. Because you don't know these people. Only one person I've talked to at Twitch has had any communication with the mod team. That is how isolated that group of people is from everyone else at Twitch HQ. I've talked to a myriad of different positions at Twitch, a bunch of different people, and only a single one has ever had direct contact with anyone on their moderation team, at least that he would share with me. So it's silly to have this team so disconnected from the rest of the company, which I genuinely feel do care about creators. But this one huge component of the company, the one with the most power directly on the platform, is this rogue organization like the fucking Syndicate from Mission Impossible that just plain doesn't seem like they care about you, or even in most cases just actively fucking hate you. And you don't even know what you've done to them because you don't know who they are. I think there should be a lot more transparency with the mod team. The fucking CEO embarrassed himself on stream, for God's sakes. Why not a head of mod team, like PR or something? It's just extremely scary, the environment and the ecosystem that this mod team has now created. Now, it's not just the mishearing of words that has led to a toxic environment where people go around thinking they're always hearing racist or homophobic things out of words that have nothing to do with it. They also have turned a large portion of the community against female streamers. I put that entirely on the mod team. What I mean by this, for the two examples, we'll stick with mishearing words. Everyone's favorite cat lady on Twitch, Alinity, has had cases where she said words that sound like she's saying the N-word. Another streamer named Amaranth have had cases where she's saying things that sound like the N-word. In both of those cases, they received a thorough investigation and no ban, not at all. Why wasn't that same luxury and courtesy given to the two League streamers I talked about? They investigated Alinity and Amaranth and found they didn't say the words, which they didn't, so they rightfully didn't get a ban. But why did they immediately flip the switch on Blade and Pinkward when they didn't say the word? They didn't investigate, they didn't even bother. That's a very clear bias. There's clear favoritism from the mod team, and that leads to the community turning against the people that are getting that special treatment, even when they don't ask for it. The community saying things like, oh, how does Twitch mod dick taste? You're immune to the Twitch mod ban hammer because you fuck them. And I don't think that's right. I don't think any female streamers have ever exchanged sexual content for special treatment. I think they're getting the special treatment without ever having asked for it, and I don't know why the mod team can't see why that's a bad thing for the streamer and the community too, because it turns the community against the female streamer for the special treatment. They get mad about that, and they accuse them of doing shady shit to get that special treatment, when I truly don't think they've ever had contact with a mod or have done anything with the mods for the special treatment. They've never asked for it, they just get it. And that's led to a portion of the community hating some female streamers because they think they've done something behind the scenes to get special treatment, and that's gotta fucking suck. Now, this is a ban that happened a few days ago that I really want to talk about. This streamer was being harassed by an asshole in the chat who was donating to him just to insult him, and the streamer got banned because he addressed that guy by his real name. The interesting thing is, The dude's real name was public already because he was donating under his real name. He was putting his real name on display for everyone to see with every insult he made. Yet when the streamer addressed him by name to talk about him being an asshole, he gets a 30-day ban just for reading his goddamn name out loud? That's bullshit. I address people by their real name on my stream sometimes. Some people tell me to address them by their real name. They prefer it, and I'm really good at remembering names, so I address them by their real name. Does that make me susceptible to a ban? Tons of streamers address members of their community by their real name. It's commonplace. What's the exception here? Because he was being an asshole, so then the streamer calls him out by his name for being an asshole? That's ridiculous. His name was there on the screen in the donation. He donated with his real name. What does this show people? This shows people that if you want to be an asshole and troll a streamer, you can make a donation in your real name, and if a streamer addresses it out loud, you can get them banned by saying they gave away your personal info. That sets such a horrible standard. This is a very easily exploitable way to get someone you don't like banned. It's so fucked up. Today, I was just made aware of this streamer on the platform that goes by the name of Ataris, I'm not quite sure how to say it. He got banned on Twitch because of an obsessed stalker fan mass reported his channel. He's confirmed this through Discord. He even had a fucking interview with the guy who outright admitted to everything that he was accused of, and yet Twitch hasn't even looked at his support ticket. He got banned completely false just from mass reports from one obsessed garbage person, and he can't get unbanned because no one bothers to check his reports because they don't care. They don't look at these kind of reports. Another streamer named Saru recently got her second ban due to her drawings being a little too lewd. Now, what's interesting about this is body painting is totally allowed on Twitch, which is nude bodies that are being painted over. And Saru's drawings are clothed, albeit a bit risque. She got one ban earlier this year and was totally fine for 3 months, but yesterday was banned with no communication from the team telling her as why she got banned, and she didn't even know she got banned until she saw a Reddit post about it. That's just absurd to me, how you can just ban someone, not tell them anything, and they just can't even talk to you ever again. The point being, Twitch has created this entire community of streamers that stream in fear of this mysterious fucking gavel-swinging judge, jury, and executioner mod team coming at them for any reason at all, even if it's totally innocent shit you're saying, and that leads to a community that constantly hears the worst things out of the most innocent things. That's fucking frustrating, scary, and unhealthy. And also, this bullshit about getting mass reported by an obsessed fan and you not being able to do anything about it, do you not see why that's a massive fucking problem? That is so easily exploitable. If a group of high schoolers get their goddamn anime club together to mass report a streamer they don't like, the biggest streamer on Twitch, let's say, they'd get banned and they wouldn't be able to get unbanned if it's during the weekend. That shit could happen on a Thursday and they're not getting touched till Monday. That is not acceptable under any circumstances. It's outrageous. Even my dog's coming over here to console me. She's upset with the fucking moderation team and their garbage. It's just so frustrating. This is the reason why so many big streamers are totally fine leaving Twitch. Not only because they got better monetary offers from other platforms, but because it's a lot safer than them, where they don't need to feel like at any moment their career could be jeopardized from this team of unknown fucking axe-slinging losers that could just completely nuke them out of the blue. So hats off to the people that do escape off Twitch with good offers, but for most people, it's where they call home. And you've created a super toxic environment in that home where constantly Twitch chat is hearing horrible things out of totally innocent things that was taught to them by the mod team. Now obviously a lot of that falls onto the individual edgelords as well, but when they see that behavior from the top level mod team that is enforcing these bans, it's very clear that that has an effect on the community as a whole and how they respond to certain things. Thus, it leads to a super unhealthy entire atmosphere that's just so fucking toxic. And yeah, that's just about it. I wanted to talk about the impact that bans like this and shitty moderation has on an entire community, and that's really about it. So yeah. Twitch is no stranger to controversy and bad decisions. In fact, when you think of Twitch, you often think of horrible choices they've made. They just go together like spaghetti and meatballs. But yesterday, all hell broke loose. Sin flooded the platform. An event occurred that was so big that it forced Twitch's hand to take action, and it led to yet another embarrassingly goofy display from the platform, and they're beginning to reach levels of silliness we only thought possible in fantasy movies. I'll break it down, though I'm sure you've already heard by now. Yesterday, it was just an innocent Thursday afternoon, you know, we're all doing our best to praise the Lord in our own special way, and then a streamer went live and had sex on Twitch. And that's not super unusual. If you scroll down far enough in the just chatting category, you can always find porn. So that's not exactly triggering the DEF CON alert system or anything, you know, just a pretty fucking ordinary day on Twitch. However, when Twitch banned the user, they only banned them for 7 days.
On TikTok. So I joined in her TikTok live. Then I asked her the $1 million question. I know why, but like, how long are you banned for?
7 days.
What the? 7 days.
Now, why is this situation such a big deal? She broadcast her visit to Dr. Dick and Balls and got banned for it. The problem is how long she was banned for, 7 days. You see, Twitch is very inconsistent with its enforcement of the rules. Sometimes it'll ban a streamer for a month because of one really small issue, or even no issue at all, like a misunderstanding. Sometimes it'll permanently ban streamers over fucking nothing. They don't enforce their rules equally across the platform, similar to what YouTube was just called out for by Corey Kinshin. Twitch, for a long time, has always been really inconsistent with its enforcement of their rules. And what you just saw there was a YouTuber named Gideon, massive YouTuber, and he used to be a Twitch streamer until he got banned 8 months ago. 8 months ago, Gideon was streaming and told his viewers to go to Penguinz0 chat and spam L+ ratio, and he was permanently removed from the platform, calling it a hate brigade. And it's been 8 months now. Gideon's apologized. Him and Penguinz0 are on good terms, as I understand it, but he is still gone. Yet, this girl orders a hot dog extra wiener on stream and only receives a 7-day suspension. It's just makes no sense how the biggest possible rule could be broken, and yet they only receive a minimal suspension, whereas one singular case of bad behavior from Gideon doing the raid on Penguinz0 is apparently so heinous that it's worthy of a lifetime ban. It just, the punishments don't fit the crime. Clearly the rules are not being enforced the same way. And in Gideon's video, he brings up a lot of other examples of Twitch either playing favorites or just coming up with the most inexplicably stupid decisions for their bans. And one of them he brings up is one that I've talked about quite a bit. It's the infamous case of a streamer going live and then spreading her butthole and pussy at the camera. She goes live and then just puts her ass right at the camera and just fully goat-sees her chamber of secrets and has the pussy flaps all visible and everything. And just does that for like, what, 15, 20 seconds, something like that, and then goes offline. Claimed it was a mistake thinking she was on a different platform. She only received a 3-day ban. Hopefully you can understand why people are questioning these decisions and scratching their head wondering what the fuck is going on. And you can probably also understand why Gideon, as well as other streamers who have been banned in the past, are rightfully upset. Gideon broke a rule. You would have expected him to get a suspension of maybe like 7 days or something. You know, he harassed another streamer, that's a violation, so he gets a 7-day suspension, and that probably should have been the end of it. But instead he got permanently banned, and they've stood beside it for 8 months. So he's been banned forever because of being mean to another streamer. Meanwhile, this lady just broke the biggest possible rule on the platform and only received 7 days. Like, this doesn't add up. These aren't making sense.
I want to myself and shoot people at Twitch HQ, right? They extend her ban, obviously, to a perma. She wrote an apology letter to Twitch, and this is Twitch's response. After reviewing your case, we confirm that the correct enforcement was issued. However, given the details of your case, including the remorse expressed in your appeal, we have decided to reduce your suspension duration.
This is another strong example Gideon gives of the questionable policy enforcement from Twitch. This comes from a streamer named Narcissa Wright, and if you're familiar with that streamer, you know the whole story surrounding her and her mental health, and it's overall a very sad situation, but I think this case is a very important one to talk about in regards to Twitch and their policy enforcement. This streamer made a public threat to hurt themselves as well as shoot up the Twitch headquarters in response to a temporary ban they had received. After making that public threat, they received a permanent ban. And after making an apology to Twitch, she then got the duration reduced to 22 days. Well, why was her apology accepted and reducing her suspension time, whereas Gideon's apology didn't do shit, they just wiped their ass with it? Like, it's not making sense. Gideon's offense was much less severe than fucking on camera, getting your fucking back blown out, and also making terrorist threats about shooting up the goddamn company. Like, his is so trivial in comparison to all of those things, and yet his is the most severe punishment so far. And he's not alone. There's other streamers that have received permanent bans or extremely lengthy bans over small things. One that I've cited a lot is Forsen's ban a couple years ago, where Forsen accidentally flashed an inappropriate picture on stream and received a full month ban for a very genuine mistake, and only was there for like a single fucking pixel. It was like a second, but still. He received a much harsher sentence than someone actually having sex on stream. It's just ridiculous. There's no consistency to their rule enforcement, and the duration of their bans make absolutely no sense. I also don't understand the argument that a lot of you are going to make about how Twitch makes more money off a girl having sex than just like a normal streamer like Gideon. That's just blatantly wrong. She was not a big streamer. The girl that just recently got fucked on cam was not a big streamer by any means. I think she had like fucking 10 or 15 viewers at the time it happened. I don't even know who reported her, to be honest. I imagined at that point it's just friends and family watching, so I don't even know how the fuck it even became like a big enough deal that Twitch stepped in. A lot of this shit just flies under the radar on the site. But anyway, she wasn't a huge streamer. She wasn't making Twitch tons and tons of money or anything like that. And she's not like a big figure outside of Twitch either. You know, she has like 800 followers on Twitter. I don't know what she's got on TikTok or anything, but she is not like this huge money-making machine for Twitch. So then why are they doing everything to defend her, like stepping in front of the bullets and everything for her? A 7-day ban is nothing. That's not even a slap on the wrist. That's barely even a light tap on the bottom. You know, that's like a very like playful slap on the keister, if anything. Like, that's nothing. It's almost encouraging her to continue to do this because it helps inflate her like OnlyFans numbers or something. Why are they being so lenient on their rules for people that just exploit their platform, but then they'll feel totally fine to fuck people in the face like Gideon, Forsen, and a ton of other big streamers I can name? Those are like the people that are actually making Twitch money. They're big streamers, they have a big following, and yet they're the ones that are scrutinized the heaviest by the platform. Whereas the ones who are just having sex on it aren't even getting punished, really. Like, it doesn't make sense. It has nothing to do with money, clearly. Because if it did, then they'd be doing everything possible to protect the bigger streamers, and they'd be a lot stricter on people like this girl who had sex. But it's the opposite. They're doing everything possible to be lenient with the girl having sex, while hurting the bigger streamers when they do even the slightest infraction. Very, very shitty situation all around. Just a totally fucked situation. I wanted to talk about it a little bit because I don't understand where Twitch is coming from here at all. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. Yesterday was a very rough day for Twitch. They broke all 10 commandments with a single policy change. A policy change that would have single-handedly destroyed the platform by driving all of the streamers to other platforms. With this new change, it would have basically been pulling a fire alarm in a crowded theater and have all of the streamers scrambling for the exit as soon as possible. Twitch, for some reason, decided to put sponsorships in their crosshair and start firing. They released an update that would reduce their streamers' ability to have sponsored content through their streams, which is most streamers' main revenue source. So if streamers could no longer comfortably or reliably have sponsorships on Twitch, they will all go elsewhere, and many of them were threatening to do so. It was the perfect, horrible idea, a fucking geostorm of stupidity to try and push out this policy change. It baffles me that this idea somehow made it out of the Twitch think tank and they really tried to push it through. It's like they were playing a game of Plague Inc. where you try and create the perfect disease to wipe out the world. They created the perfect disease to wipe out their own company. Twitch is like a panda that's constantly trying to hurt itself, and the community is the zookeepers doing their best to stop it. Like, hey, no, don't do that. This is stupid. You're hurting yourself. Stop. Please stop. You know, Twitch is like a fucking Mr. Meeseeks that's just determined to kill itself. Twitch seems determined to ruin their platform. I don't understand how. Maybe they've been infiltrated by like YouTube execs and they're just sabotaging it internally? I don't know. They're making the worst decisions imaginable. So it's been about 24 hours since that massively awful idea came to fruition and was published, and now today they've made a statement saying that they're getting rid of it entirely. Now they're scrambling in a panic, desperate to try and walk it back. So they posted this saying, yesterday we released new branded content guidelines that impacted your ability to work with sponsors to increase your income from streaming. These guidelines are bad for you and bad for Twitch, and we are removing them entirely. Sponsorships are critical to streamers' growth and ability to earn income. We will not prevent your ability to enter into direct relationships with sponsors. You will continue to own and control your sponsorship business. We want to work with our community to create the best experience on Twitch, and to do that, we need to be clear about what we're doing and why we're doing it. We appreciate your feedback and help in making this change. Now, on the surface, that sounds jolly good. That sounds dandy. Very simple and easy to understand. We fucked up. We released these new guidelines that reduced your ability to get sponsorships on your own and generate income through those sponsorships. So, we're removing those guidelines. Very cut and dry, very easy to understand, no wiggle room for confusion. You know, we're not out here trying to understand the Silmarillion. It's just very simple. We're removing those guidelines because we recognize that it inhibited your ability to get sponsorships. So then why is the exact same language from yesterday still in their terms of service? When you go to their terms of service, they still have the exact same fucking policy that they tweeted about yesterday with the exact same language. Yesterday they tried saying that it was just a misunderstanding, that everyone misconstrued their statements because they made it too broad. But then today coming forward saying that, you know, it really wasn't a misunderstanding. These rules actually did just impact your ability to get sponsors, so they're removing them. Yet in their announcement about them being removed, they're still clearly here in their terms of service with the exact same language. So why are you claiming that they're removed if they're still there? That seems like a blatant lie to me, unless there's something I'm misunderstanding here. But it seems like they're trying to pull a quarter out from behind my ear and call it magic. It's still there. The policy has still made it to the terms of service, despite their tweets kind of leading people to believe the opposite is true. So, I don't exactly fully get what the fuck has changed then. The policy is still there, so why are they tweeting as if they did some kind of heroic good deed by listening to the community and removing those restrictive guidelines on sponsorships? That just seems very misleading. Now, I watched Ludwig's video on it, the Mogul Mail, and he made a point that I think he's probably right on the money with. I believe the policy here with the advertisement is supposed to target things like Stream Elements or other companies that are able to sell ads at scale, and kind of go through that process as opposed to attacking individuals for sponsorships. But it's very important to note that with the way the policy stands, it very well could be used against individuals. They can enforce it against any streamer they want. It doesn't have to be reserved for just corporations. So again, this would have to be a wait-and-see situation on how they choose to enforce it, but they could, for example, slap me if during one of our Moist Esports watch parties we play an opera ad that we made where I'm a fisherman and I catch a big opera fish, right? They can punish me for that with this new policy in place. It's just a matter of whether or not they'll choose to. Again, YouTube does have a very similar policy and they don't enforce it at all, really, not against individual streamers, and I haven't seen it enforced against any companies either. So Twitch could follow suit with that, but there's no telling. We don't know. But what I find extremely scummy is the way they're misleading people into thinking that this entire branded content policy is gone now, when it's not. It's still very much in effect. So I don't know why they're pretending that it's different. It's worked though. This has been a big PRW for Twitch here, because if you look at the comment section on the Twitch post, everyone's like, thanks for listening, Twitch. It really means a lot that you take notice of community feedback and respond accordingly. Which makes it clear that they have been able to slyly bring this policy to the platform without people taking too big of a notice. The goddamn Decepticons came in here from Twitch and they really pulled the wool over our eyes. They got a PR win by pretending, they're making it seem like they listened to everyone's backlash and got rid of that evil policy that, you know, slipped through the cracks and missed the mark, when in reality, it's still there, and it's just a matter of how they're going to enforce it going forward. So, overall, that's pretty shitty, but it gets a bit worse for Twitch because I didn't even know this until today after watching Ludwig's video. They actually very sneakily introduced a couple new policies as well that I've only seen a little bit of talk about. One of them is simulcasting. So for those that don't know, simulcasting is the ability for a stream to be broadcast in multiple platforms at the same time. So let's say I'm playing Street Fighter 6, I'm fucking climbing all the way up to Masters like I'm known to do because I'm an absolute Street Fighter fucking deity. So I've got a banging stream popping off, and I'm streaming it on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Kick. I'm all over the place. Maybe the fucking New York City billboards. Like, I'm streaming this shit everywhere. That was allowed for a good chunk of time by Twitch's terms. However, you'd have to just relinquish your ability to be a partner on Twitch. The most notable example of this is Ninja. Ninja has been streaming on every platform that has video streaming capabilities. The man is streaming everywhere. He's probably streaming on your fucking university exclusive streaming platform at this point. He's everywhere. And he's able to do that because he's no longer a partner on Twitch. He doesn't make any money directly through Twitch. That's how he's able to do simulcasting. But Twitch has now introduced a new policy where he can't do that anymore. No one can do that anymore. And that affects mainly smaller streamers and Ninja. Ninja had a whole speech about it, and he's right on the money. Since he can't do that anymore, he's not going to stream on Twitch, because the options are stream on Twitch where he's making no money and can't make any money on Twitch, or stream to like 20 different platforms at the same time. The choice is obvious. And that's the same reality for a lot of small streamers that do the same thing, where they plant their feelers out as many places as they can to grow an audience. You've got to spread your wings. You got to put your tendrils all over the place. So a lot of streamers, when they're starting out, will stream as many platforms as possible at the same time to try and grow their brand. No longer can they do that. So that's kind of a big deal for a lot of people, I would imagine. And I don't think many people have recognized that they changed their rules regarding simulcasting. And then the last little curveball Twitch surprised everyone with was a new contract that all their partners will need to sign, where they review and accept the new terms of service, and if they fail to do so, they lose their partnership. They get made into an affiliate until they accept the contract. And to go even a bit further here, if they choose not to accept the contract, or like they terminate the agreement, they're going to be charged $25 for the termination. Literally a fuck you charge. An actual suck my dick fee. Like, that's crazy. Just a $25 charge just because, fuck you. That's wild. So that's another thing that's happening right now. So you need to review and accept the terms in order to keep your partnership. And if you don't do it in a timely fashion, you're going right back down to affiliate until you decide to play ball with Twitch and you comply with their demands. This whole thing is just so silly. I don't understand why they're so fearful of... I'm just going to keep working under the assumption that it's things like stream elements. I don't know why they're so afraid of stream elements all of a sudden. I understand Twitch is extremely desperate for extra doubloons, like they're not making as many clams as they think they should be making on the site. But this is just such a crazy reaction to the existence of things like stream elements, because it can be enforced in a really terrible way for the health of the platform, and it's just pretty scary in general for streamers that makes them feel unsafe and unwelcome on Twitch, where at any moment Twitch could fuck them up for their sponsorships. Like, that's just something that is a legitimate concern and a big driving factor in why so many streamers would want to go to other platforms. I don't know why they can't recognize that. This announcement came with something that is a legitimately good change, which is a tool that allows you to easily disclose when you're sponsored by someone or something. It's just a button you click to let people know that you are sponsored. That's a requirement for like every other site ever, so it's about time Twitch got one of those. But then they coupled that with all of these other awful changes that do nothing but make the site worse. I just don't understand why they're so determined to ruin the platform. They're not getting anything back from all of this. They're just losing over and over again. And I'm confident this won't be the last time Twitch makes a very greedy, out-of-touch policy change in the near future. I'm wagering within the next 6 months we see something equally as stupid and as greedy as this policy change that they try and push to the platform and will receive huge backlash for, and subsequently backpedal on the following day. I already can foresee that in the future of Twitch. They don't know what they're doing. They're completely lost. They're misguided. They're mismanaged, and they don't know how to make money from the platform. So the way they keep coming back to is just taking money from their streamers. And without streamers, there is no Twitch. And with Twitch continuing to do this, they'll start losing those streamers that they really desperately need, they rely on. So I really don't think Twitch will be a platform within the next 10 years, maybe even less, if they keep going in this direction. But yeah, I just want to talk about it a little bit. That's it. See ya. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, the Better Business Bureau for Twitch, apparently, because anytime any kind of drama unfolds on Twitch, I get asked about it for a fucking week, at least. So, I wanted to get ahead of this one because the Alinity situation is in full force, and I'm getting emails about it in tweets nonstop. So, let's fucking talk about it. For those that don't know, Alinity is a popular streamer. She's had a lot of controversial things that have happened to her throughout her streaming career, and her recent misstep has been showing her full titty plus nipple on a stream yesterday. I can't show the clip for obvious reasons, but imagine what a titty and a nipple would look like if it was broadcast on Twitch. In fact, you don't have to imagine it. If you go to Just Chatting, I'm sure you can see 1,000 of them right now. So why is this a big deal? We gamers, we love those big titties, those fat milkers with good nipples on them and solid areolas. So why is this an issue? Why is everyone so upset? The issue doesn't lie with the honkers themselves. No one is upset about that being online. I mean, this is going to be a surprise to a lot of people. I'm gonna hit you with some cold water. There's people without clothes on the internet. It's only a simple click away. It's right at your fingertips. The issue is, the reason people are upset is because people get banned for nudity all the time on Twitch that are total accidental nudity, either in video games that they didn't expect it in, or total, nip slips by accident. However, in Alinity's case, she didn't receive a ban. There's no statement from Twitch. I doubt there will be because throughout her entire career, for the most part, Twitch has stayed silent on a lot of controversial things she's done, such as the whole cat throwing incident and everything like that. Twitch just doesn't enforce the rules the same way for her as they do other streamers. And of course, it's not just Alinity. There is clear favoritism when it comes to the enforcement of rules on Twitch. I want to make it clear, I've talked about this in a video I made like 5 months ago, where Twitch mod team instills fear and creates a platform of toxicity because of these weird bans and this odd enforcement of their rules. It's not everyone at Twitch. It is a very disconnected group from the rest of Twitch. Everyone I've ever talked to at Twitch since switching over there to stream has been wonderful, helpful, and truly does seem to want to make the platform better. And almost all of them have no idea who's even on the mod team making these decisions. So it's a clear disconnect between the actual human beings at Twitch and this mod team, this Illuminati, Splinter Cell, rogue nation that's weirdly jerking off the streams and the power that they get from banning people or not banning people. I don't really get it, and no one really knows who's behind it, even at Twitch. It's just super fucking weird, because that is the most powerful group at Twitch, but there's no accountability. There's no face of Twitch mods, which I think there absolutely should be. I mean, even fucking Discord had Wumpus for a little while, where everyone would start insulting Wumpus anytime Discord went down, Wumpus tripped over the power cord and shit his pants. Discord's down for an hour, and then everyone just attacks Wumpus with complaints. There's nothing like that for the Twitch mod team. There is no Twitch mod support or anything like that. You can't go anywhere to get information about this team or understand why exactly a streamer was banned or what happened. There's just none of that. As far as the internet's concerned, that division just doesn't exist. Like in Star Wars, when the star system that had all the clones and shit wasn't in the record database because it had been scrubbed, that's pretty much like the Twitch mod team here, just operating in secrecy, which is the worst way of doing things. With no transparency, it just leads to a lot of confusion and a lot of bad things, even for the streamers that they seem to want to protect. And I don't even know if that's the right word for it. I don't even know if they're making a conscious decision to protect streamers, but just this weird favoritism they seem to play and this bias leads to these conspiracy theories where, all women are invincible on Twitch because they're giving nude photos to the mod team for special treatment. And I think that shit's super silly. I think that tinfoil condom conspiracy theory makes about as much sense as flat earth. I imagine the vast majority of streamers on Twitch, I'd say, I'll put my ass on the line, all of the streamers on Twitch have never had contact with that mod team. I will say it. I highly doubt it. When even Twitch themselves, high up employees, don't know who's making those decisions, I can't imagine a streamer has that kind of connection. I just don't believe it. Also, it's not all women that are getting special treatment or anything like that. There's a streamer named CaseyTron who recently got banned for making a joke on a stream. It wasn't a great joke or anything. It wasn't clever, but it was just a joke, and she got banned for it. There's also a streamer named Velvet7 who keeps getting banned on Twitch for really simple things. Like, she got banned recently for dancing when dancing is super common on Twitch for everybody else, but for some reason her dancing got her banned with no real explanation, and that's like the third or fourth time she's been banned for something like that. It's just weird. There is very odd selective enforcement of their rules for channels, and it's not like this is a good thing for the channel they're protecting either, because then that just makes the community hate them and makes them feel like they're doing something to get that special treatment when I really don't think they are. In a breaking update, I just got word from my ace detective on the front lines. Alinity has been suspended. What I was going to mention is, initially, Alinity decided to suspend herself, saying, you know what, she broke the rules and thinks she deserves a suspension, so she was taking 3 days off, and about 2 hours after she said that, Twitch themselves decided to suspend her, which leads me to believe that her saying she needs to be suspended actually finally got Twitch to enforce their rules the way that they are written. So, I mean, good on Alinity for that, and again, him not suspending her, making a statement, just brought a lot of flack to her. People attacking Alinity for Twitch's inability to enforce their rules properly. I want to say, I don't think anyone should be banned for accidental nudity, by the way. I don't think Alinity deserves to be suspended for showing her titty. It was clearly an accident, and I don't believe anyone deserves to be suspended for showing a titty during a video game they didn't expect. Accidental nudity shouldn't be bannable. Like, what are you preventing? You know, a mistake? You can't fucking prevent a mistake like that, it just fucking happens. But it seems they've already set the precedent where if there's any nudity for any reason, even if it's by total accident or act of God, like if a lightning bolt hits your house and vaporizes your clothes right before your eyes for a split second on stream, you're banned for a little while. I think that's dumb. Accidental nudity is something you can't prevent, and by banning people for it, you're not ensuring it doesn't happen in the future. Shit just happens. It's a dumb rule. It's like it's such an overblown, stupid rule, but it is what it is. I should be able to come back from taking a big piss, and my big throbbing meat should be able to be seen a little bit through my pants by total accident, and I shouldn't have to worry about repercussions for something I didn't plan on happening just because my cock is so big. There's just no reason why anyone should panic from seeing ass cheeks in a video game because they're worried about this weird Twitch mod team overreacting and banning them for it. It's silly and it makes the platform very scary sometimes. But also I want to say I didn't cut my hair, by the way. It's just pulled back into a bun. I figured those comments were coming. It's not, I didn't cut it. It's still long. I just put it back. I wanted to talk about the community's response to Alinity not getting suspended, or at least not immediately suspended. There was a lot of really low IQ takes on the situation where people would start up a stream and just on repeat play Alinity's nip slip until they got banned, and they'd be like, look at this. I got banned before Alinity got banned just for showing her clip. This is so dumb. Look how stupid Twitch is. And then the comments would be like, wow, that's so weird. Twitch is such simps. This is some real high-level simping. My god, you dropped this, king. Here's your crown. As if that somehow proves fucking anything. Hers was an accident for a split second. You had a whole hour stream showing a titty. That's a fucking dumb thought process right there. Like, you gotta be eating Tide Pods to be thinking something like that makes any level of sense. But I am glad to see Twitch is at least enforcing their rules fairly if they want to have this precedent where accidental nudity is not allowed at all. Again, there has been preferential treatment for streamers, and it's probably going to continue, but at least in this case, Alinity wasn't immune this time, even though I feel like she had to beg, and she was literally begging on Twitter for Twitch to suspend her account. Like, that's pretty pathetic. She's having to beg the Twitch mod team to enforce the rules fairly for her because by them not doing it, it's creating a lot of problems for her. I don't know how they can't see why it's a bad thing for both the community and the streamer that's getting that treatment. It's so fucking silly. But yeah, in conclusion, the issue was never with the nip slip, it was only ever with the way Twitch handles these things, and honestly, I wish they would just change this rule where accidental nudity wouldn't be, you know, this ban sentence every single time. They should look at context, look at what happened, and realize this is a pretty fucking dumb rule. At least that's my perspective on it. You're not going to make nudity worse on Twitch by making it a little safer for streamers, I don't think. I don't think by saying, hey, look, I see you made a mistake, just, you know, be a little more cautious next time. I don't think that's going to open the floodgates to having people start a stream with their cock and balls dangling in front of the webcam. It's not exactly a gateway drug to that kind of activity. All it does is improve the atmosphere and make streamers a little less fearful. But that's the Twitch mod team for you. It honestly feels like the Twitch mod team wants to make it as, you know, ruling with an iron fist, this fucking very scary atmosphere. They're trying their best to make it confusing. I think there needs to be a level of accountability for this mod team. There should be a face of the mod team, like head Twitch mod, that is very publicly in tuned and transparent with the community so we can actually get an understanding of why things are the way they are when someone gets banned or doesn't have action taken against them. I think that would be nothing but a positive thing for Twitch going forward. Again, I think everyone at Twitch, aside from the mod team, really is on the side of the streamer and making the platform better. It's just that one team is really holding it back and really souring the public's perception of Twitch as a whole. And yeah. That's just what I wanted to talk about here. Again, I don't fucking think accidental nudity should be bannable in the first place, by the way. I just want to make that clear. Again, it's a stupid fucking rule. Let me just play some games without having to worry about, oh, what if I accidentally see some bare ass cheeks from one of the models in the game? Shit. It's stupid. It's fucking dumb. That's it. So yeah. Hey, what's up? It's me again, the Rotten Tomatoes for Twitch, here to critique yet another huge change coming to Twitch. I know this is like the 10th time I made a video joking about and talking about Twitch things, but I can't help it. I'm passionate about it. I fucking stream on there daily, so obviously I want it to be the best platform it can be. So when a big change or decision is made over there, whether it's good or bad, I like to do what a high school stoner likes to do after their first hit of marijuana. Talk about it. So what we'll be talking about today is the unveiling of Twitch's new Safety Advisory Council. There may have been no E3 this year, but we still got a huge fucking announcement here thanks to Twitch. In a nutshell, this Jedi Council consists of both members of the Twitch streaming community as well as experts outside of it to weigh in on decisions made on the platform as well as potential policies going forward and changes to existing policies, making things clearer, shit like that. I'll throw my nutsack out here to be abused for a minute here by going against the grain and saying, on paper, I actually think this is a good idea. By having faces attached to decisions on the platform, people can actually feel like their voices can be heard, whereas the entire history of Twitch has just had faceless people making these decisions behind the scenes, you know, pulling the strings on the marionettes and making them dance for these weird policies and weird favoritism. Well, now, with this council here, there are actual streamers, very popular streamers attached to it that you can communicate with and get answers from. We don't know how much power this council is going to have, which still leads to a lot of confusion, but just the fact that they're taking a step in putting faces to decisions going forward, I think is a step in the right direction and making people feel like their voices can at least be heard. But I will say, I hate the fucking name of this. The Safety Advisory Council sounds dystopian. That sounds like something out of Judge Dredd. Just fucking pull up to an apartment complex over a noise complaint. Yes, I'm here on behalf of the Safety Advisory Council. Your noise was too high, too many decibels. You've been cancelled. Fucking puts a bullet in their skull. It's just not a good name. That doesn't really instill confidence in people that hear that. Now, looking at the people aboard the council, I only know two of them, Carnage and Ziz. Admittedly, I'm unfamiliar with the others, but I'm going to give Twitch the benefit of the doubt that these are good fits for their positions. But Carnage and Ziz in particular, I think are excellent fits here. I'm familiar with both their content. I actively watch and I've tuned into Ziz occasionally. And I think both of them have a very good understanding of Twitch culture as well as understanding exactly what is and is not allowed and how to make policies more clear, as well as what policies should not even be there in the first place. As said during one of his streams about this, he's actively fighting to make sure there's not too many rules that start suffocating the creators, and I think that is the absolute best way of approaching something like this with this kind of responsibility. Now, as I said, I don't know the majority of people on that list, but I am giving them the benefit of the doubt. However, one of them in particular, named Steph, has recently shown that the power is kind of getting to them in a certain way. And I'm not trying to be rude, but it's really hard to have a positive opinion of the Safety Advisory Council right now due to the drama that she's stirring up on her own personal streams.
Can't get rid of me. Twitch is endorsing me, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I'm just gonna dance to your sad tears. I'm just gonna drink your tears.
This is her celebrating the fact that she's no longer subject to bans on Twitch due to her position, and I think this just lacks taste. Twitch has been a platform that's been plagued by very odd bans that have ruined lives, so for her to come out here and say that nothing will ever happen to her because of her position and rub it in the face of people who have been wronged by bans like that, I think just shows a real lack of care for the people on the platform. Now, I'm not here to humiliate or belittle Steph in any way. I already know a lot of people are going to point out that viral clip of her where she's role-playing as a deer having an orgasm on a stream. Yes, I think it's odd to broadcast that on Twitch, but it's not pertinent to what I want to talk about, and you know me, I like to joke about those odd fetishes all the time, like that person that steps on bread and ejaculates in their pants. I think that shit is just really fun to make some jokes about, but they're just that. They're harmless jokes. I never like to maliciously target someone or try and ruin someone's life over a kink or anything like that. Whereas in this case, I feel like people are going beyond just goofing around. They're genuinely trying to ruin her life over that deer clip, and I just wouldn't want to play a part in that. On a side note, before continuing though, that person that was stepping on the bread and ejaculating, they actually reached out to me like a year ago, offering to teach me how to do it properly. So they were super nice. They enjoyed the video. Just thought I'd throw that out there. So if you see me stepping on bread and coming in my pants, you know I was taught by the master. Immediately after Twitch announced that she's a member of this council, she went live and started antagonizing the broad Twitch community, in particular livestream fails. I also fucking hate livestream fails. I think that place is a cesspool. It's basically just an XQC cum dumpster. Anytime XQC moves in his chair or makes even the slightest micro expression on his face, it's like a 30-second clip that's spammed for an hour. That subreddit is literally a time capsule into old Tumblr. It's like maintain the essence, that old fucking odor of Tumblr. It has this two camps. It's like a perpetual civil war. One camp that loves fake manufactured drama and getting invested in these reality TV shows on Twitch, and this camp that pretends to hate it, but what they love is loud, screeching, jingling key clips, but they also still do love that fake drama, so then they'll come together and start upvoting all these drama things, and then they start attacking each other. It's a weird community, and no one hates livestream fails more than livestream fails community hates themselves. It's really weird. It's not a good subreddit. So I totally understand why the majority of streamers don't even like it in the first place. But what Steph has done is she's taken livestream fails and put that as the face of Twitch itself. So instead of just attacking some of the bad actors on livestream fails, she's attacking everybody on Twitch for a ton of different things.
Well, I'm just not cool with white supremacy, y'all. It's really not that. I think a lot of you gamers are actually white supremacists. Sorry. Just a fact of how I feel, which isn't a big deal.
That's such a fucked up thing to say, especially on a platform like Twitch, which is primarily composed of gamers. Not to go like 90s back of the cereal box slogan, but Twitch is literally like extreme gamer zone territory. So to outright vilify gamers by calling a lot of them white supremacists is so beyond disrespectful, and especially given your position as a member of the Safety Advisory Council. How does that make anyone feel confident about the decisions you'll make in that council going forward when you clearly already have a clear disdain for gamers on that platform, a platform that you now represent in a very high level capacity, at least judging by the announcement? So it's just very odd because you're coming across as openly hateful and proudly prejudiced.
I said a lot of people with cis white male sounding voices are here telling me that voice chat isn't a problem, and that is a fact. Y'all have voices that aren't marginalized coming in and saying, just mute, it's not an issue. Everyone faces harassment. I've heard it all. You're just repeating my like a year ago. The only way to have a level playing field at the highest level of play is to have is to not have voice chat, to not have people give up their linguistic profiles. I mean, and maybe you...
It was this opinion that really sparked the majority of outrage initially, because she firmly believes that voice chat really shouldn't exist in the first place. Now, I want to make it clear she's in no way going to developers lobbying to have it removed or anything. She's simply sharing her opinion that she doesn't believe that it should be an integral part of games, and the majority of gamers understandably disagree, because without a voice chat, what the fuck are you supposed to do with your teammates in like a game of Valorant? Use the in-game voice commands and just spam no, or in Rocket League, nice save? Like, if you don't have voice chat, you have no way of really communicating with your team to win games. But for Steph, she believes that it's an unfair advantage or disadvantage depending on the sound of the person's voice who's using the voice chat. She argues that those with a marginalized voice have to resort to blocking and muting toxic players in their lobbies, which inhibits their ability to communicate and win the games. And that's a fair point. That shit absolutely does happen. Anytime a girl talks in like a fucking Overwatch lobby or Valorant, dudes will fucking dogpile on that like they're recovering a fumble in the Super Bowl. They're either getting flirted with or just outright insulted and harassed. That absolutely is very commonplace, and you're lying to yourself if you think it's not. It is, regrettably. And not to downplay the issue, but everyone gets harassed in voice chat when it comes to like higher level play or just toxic assholes in general. It's not a problem that's exclusive to women or voices that are marginalized. In video games like that, there are just toxic assholes, and it's not just voice chat, it's everywhere. If you take away voice chat, text chat becomes extremely toxic. League of Legends has notoriously one of the most toxic communities around, and there's no voice chat there, it's only text. When I was addicted to League of Legends, I never felt so fucking bad about myself because of that voice chat, or text chat. So it's not an issue with just voice chat in general, it's just there's assholes in the world. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. But luckily, thanks to the incredible advancements in technology, we found the solution. We have the answer. It's called just muting the assholes, blocking them. You don't have to hear these things. You can always block people that are just outright rude and nasty. So I understand her opinion, and I do agree that the harassment in voice chat, especially for women, is pretty fucking nuts these days, but you can just not hear it by muting them. And yeah, it does suck having to mute your teammates, but if the alternative is just taking away voice chat entirely, it's better than the alternative. Now again, I think there's nothing wrong with having this opinion from her, and I don't think it's means to just outright harass and berate her. The problem is the way that she approaches getting these ideas across and her beliefs. She's very standoffish, and anyone who disagrees with her, she immediately labels as either a white supremacist or an overly privileged cis-white male. She seems to enjoy attacking the community she's supposed to be representing and looking out for, like with the first clip I showed, dancing about her immunity from Twitch because they now formally endorse her into this council, and she's saying how she's just going to drink the tears of the people who are upset about the things she says. So, and she bans everyone in her chat that happens to disagree. Now don't get me wrong, she does ban actual douchebags that deserve it, but she also just bans people that are asking simple questions or just happen to disagree, but not just banning them, labeling them some very nasty titles, which I just think is wrong. Asmongold said it best when he said, this kind of behavior really shouldn't be accepted from someone at that position, because imagine if someone said something different that wasn't cis-white male, you know? What if someone said, gays are ruining the voice chat, so we need to remove voice chat? Instead of saying cis-white males are ruining voice chat, what if it was replaced by gays? Whoever said that would be immediately removed from that platform and permaban, because that wouldn't be accepted. And rightfully so. Nobody should be judged by their skin color or sexual orientation, attacked for their skin color or sexual orientation, put into these groups and vilified because of their skin color or sexual orientation. Racism is bad. Racism, discrimination, hating people for choices they make with their own body, all of it. Bad. Very bad. But because she's the one saying it about cis-white males, for some reason, it's not only accepted, but it is endorsed by Twitch, which I think, and most streamers and most people on the platform think, is not a good thing and sets a very fearful precedent, and is immediately kind of dividing the community about safety advisory versus the community, which is the absolute worst thing, because on paper, it seems like the council was supposed to be a way to bridge this gap where we can finally have real communication between Twitch power and just the people on the platform. But unfortunately, there's already a divide being caused. But I am still genuinely hopeful that the council will be something positive for the platform, because this is a step in the right direction, at least the idea and the theory of it, by having actual members of the community representing the community's interest in a higher capacity, I think is a great step. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that, and that's it. So yeah. Yesterday I made a video going over Twitch's new policy update that they rolled out, and it's been just a little over 24 hours, and they immediately threw their hands up, waved the white flag, and surrendered, saying, goodness gracious, heavens to Betsy, this was too far, too much, we could have never seen this coming, we're rolling back this change, we're reverting it. So, for those that don't know, yesterday Twitch made a guidelines update to what type of content they allow on their platform when it comes to sexually suggestive material. The biggest change that raised the most eyebrows is they made a sweeping alteration to their artistic nudity policy, where they basically gave everyone the green light to get fucking insano style with it. They opened Pandora's box, allowing pretty much all types of nudity as long as there was artistic context to it, drawing, animation, sculpting, all of that. This was like the big bang that created a universe of porn on Twitch. If you went to the art category in particular on the platform over the last 24 hours, you were inundated with tons of hentai and furry porn out the wazoo. And it's not like it was some restricted category off in like a quarantine zone that you needed a secret password to enter, like a speakeasy or something. It was legitimately one of the top categories over the last 24 hours, so if you just clicked on it, you immediately saw all of this. Like, the only time that there was a warning is if you actually tried to watch one of the streams, it would let you know that, hey, there might be sexual content here. But otherwise, it was just easily accessible to anybody. And I really think Twitch was under the impression that this policy would be used by artists making really classy things. I think they were expecting Michelangelo level sculptures where it's like this marble statue of a man with a small wiener, but how it was actually utilized by the community is just tons of huge cocked furries and like giant titted anime babes squirting milk out of their nipples. And I saw a lot of people getting mad at the artists for making this kind of content on Twitch, but I don't blame them at all. Twitch allowed this, they enabled it, they gave them the green light, gave them the freedom to do that, so they were just playing by the rules. They didn't do anything wrong. They didn't break any of those rules at all, except for a couple of people that popped forward to exploit it even further. There were some channels that were made in order to AI generate photorealistic porn in the art category. So then you started having AI generated porn images that were indistinguishable from just real screenshots from porn. Scrolling through the art category, which again was one of the top categories, felt like what Y2K was trying to warn us of back in the year 2000. It was disastrous. Which again, at the end of the day, was entirely Twitch's fault. I think Carnage summed it up best, nice and succinct. He said, "These recent changes on Twitch are so embarrassing. Sweeping policy changes without basic restrictions, erroneously ban streamers for doing exactly what they're told they can do, immediately roll back the changes the next day. Amateur hour, please do better, Twitch." Amen. I mean, that's the whole situation broken down into a nutshell. Twitch started banning some of the streamers that were literally doing what they were allowed to do. They played by Twitch's new rules and still got banned for it because Twitch must have got all, you know, blushed and shocked like, oh my goodness, what have we done? And then they just started lashing out and banning streamers that were literally just doing what Twitch said they could. Just a massive L from Twitch across the board here. When reading through their explanation for why they decided to make this big change, they said, "For years, through user voice and conversations, we heard from artists that our content policies were limiting. In making this update, we were trying to be responsive to those requests and allow the thriving artist community on Twitch to utilize the human form in art." So reading through this explanation, I just really get the impression that they expected this to kind of be like my figure drawing course in my freshman year of college, where you do draw a nude model, so the art does have nudity in it, but that's still very different than just drawing straight up porn. That's two very separate disciplines. Those categories couldn't be more different. And Twitch was expecting the former, but they got the latter, and a lot of it. Bazooka ballsack furries as far as the eye could see in the art category for the last 24 hours, and Twitch eventually said, okay, enough is enough, we've got to put the kibosh on this. So today they announced that they are taking that change back. They're saying, whoops-a-daisy, they're using their one mulligan in the golf game here in order to say, nope. Let's go ahead and read through the rest of the statement here. First, we want to make clear that some streamers in response to this update created content that was in violation of our new policy. We've worked quickly to remove that content and issue channel enforcements. That's referring mainly to the AI-generated photorealistic porn that was being put onto the platform. I don't know why they didn't see that coming. That was always going to be the outcome of a policy like this, with just a massive sweeping change that allows for artistic nudity, which is a very vague thing to try and define. Like, that was always going to happen, and I don't know how Twitch didn't foresee that. It just seems like they don't exactly know their community that well. Or not even their community, just the internet in general. That was always going to be exploited. However, there also was a great deal of new content that was allowed under the updated policy. Much of the content created has been met with community concern. These are concerns we share. Upon reflection, we have decided that we went too far with this change. Digital depictions of nudity present a unique challenge. AI can be used to create realistic images, and it can be hard to distinguish between digital art and photography. Basically, they're just echoing the sentiment from a lot of people that, hey, this is a little weird to have on Twitch where one of your top categories actually just has tons and tons of porn being drawn, like, all the time now. That's very odd considering it lives in the same ecosystem of just like normal gaming or like normal just chatting streams or whatever. I also don't understand why everything has to be a hot button debate here where people are like, oh, Twitch has never been a safe Christian space for the youth and everything. There's always been some sexually suggestive things on there. Yeah, no shit. No one's saying that Twitch is like this perfect utopia where degeneracy doesn't exist. But I feel like everyone can recognize the difference between a streamer doing squats for subs or being in a bikini or something versus having an entire category, one of the top categories, taken over by drawn porn and hentai and AI-generated porn. Like, it's so drastically different. You can just say that that's weird that Twitch would allow that. You don't have to try and make this some kind of bigger, deeper, more nuanced issue like, oh, a bunch of prudes. Oh, what, you guys don't like boobies anymore? What's all this boobie outrage? I can't believe we're even making a big deal out of this. Like, no, everyone likes tits. That's not what anyone's saying. It's just maybe not on Twitch in this capacity where you're just drawing porn. Like, that is a weird thing to have on Twitch. Like, if you want to make an 18+ category for Twitch, that's fine, I guess, but it needs to be a, like, restricted, spun-off category in its own designated area that doesn't live in the same ecosystem, because it shouldn't overlap with the rest of the content on the platform, because it is so fucking different to just allow drawn porn and hentai and shit. Like, I don't know why this is even, like, a complicated issue. It's just as simple as, it's a little weird to have the entire category be porn. You know, it's just, to me, that simple. So, it seems like it was that simple to Twitch as well, where they must have not really thought through the policy all that deeply, rolled this out, and then were shocked to see just how much of this was existing on the platform, so that's why they're overruling themselves. So, effective today, we're rolling back the artistic nudity changes. Moving forward, depictions of real or fictional nudity won't be allowed on Twitch, regardless of the medium. This restriction does not apply to mature-rated games. You can find emote-specific standards for nudity and sexual content in the emote guidelines. We aren't making other changes to the updated sexual content policy. So basically just saying, nudity, no. They're putting the kibosh on it. They're hitting it with the X. No more nudity, no matter what medium it's in, unless, of course, it's in, like, a mature video game or something that's not already banned on Twitch. Now, one thing I have to mention that I just find fascinating is how quickly Twitch rolled back this change. Their response time to this is historic for the platform. Twitch is notorious for taking an absurdly long time to respond to anything. Even, like, legitimate crime that happens on Twitch. They will just, like, take so long, an outrageously long time to do anything in response to it. Yet when it came down to this, they changed things lickety-split in 24 hours, basically. That is a new world record for Twitch. So, if I may get a bit conspiratorial, I'd like to hit you with my game theory on why exactly that is. Why did they respond so quick to this, but never anything else in the past that have been huge issues? Here's what I think. I think what happened is Twitch rolled out this artistic nudity policy change, and all of this porn hits the platform. As a response to that, a lot of advertisers take notice that work with Twitch and start asking questions of why. It is well known in the industry that anything that is even remotely construed as adult content is almost impossible to monetize for sponsors. Sponsors don't want to touch anything that's even close to like 18+ material. And Twitch, although it does have like some sexually suggestive content on it, it is not an 18+ website or anything like that. No one would ever consider Twitch an adult site by any means, so advertisers feel comfortable placing their products on there. But this is, by all definitions, an adult category now, basically, where all of this porn is being drawn. So perhaps advertisers got a little frightened and started like pressuring Twitch a bit, like, hey, we do not feel comfortable advertising on a platform that's going to allow porn to be drawn like this and have all of this kind of content. So maybe that scared Twitch, like maybe this was going to hit their financials somehow, so then they immediately, overnight, rolled back this change. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense to me, because historically, Twitch hasn't responded to anything in any meaningfully fast period of time. They are always so slow dragging their feet to anything on their platform, except this now. So that's why I think they did. Of course, I have no evidence of this. I'm just speculating, but I just know historically when it comes to like adult content, advertisers get extremely scared and want to pull out, and this allowed adult content onto Twitch for however brief a time. So that's what I think led to them being so quick to revert the changes. I could be wrong, who knows, but I just wanted to at least throw that out there while we're talking about it. That's really about it. So yeah. I'm no meteorologist, but I'm still going to make a weather forecast for Twitch right now. I'm predicting a 100% chance of cloudy skies and rain, as the collective tears from all of the gooners on Twitch fall and crash upon their desk in unison, because Twitch just broke their hearts. They just announced the apocalypse, the doomsday, or rather, the Coomsday, I suppose. Friday, March 29th, Twitch is adjusting their policy that will now outlaw content that focuses on intimate body parts for a prolonged period of time. It will no longer be allowed. In no uncertain terms, they drew a line in the sand and said, this is our domain expansion. The absence of booby and butthole. I doubt there's a single soul on this planet that's surprised by this decision from Twitch because of the blossoming trend on the platform where creators were trying to push the envelope of sexual content as far as they possibly could. I mean, for goodness sakes, we had a camera aimed directly at their chocolate starfish and put the bare minimum amount of fabric required to hide the hole, but you could still see all of the anal folds and everything. I mean, the asshole was still winking at you through the fabric. And I can't even use the word fabric in good consciousness, because it was barely fabric. It was like a sliver of toilet paper that just got stuck there and was hanging on for dear life, because it wasn't censoring like anything. But anyway, as you can imagine, this was extremely popular, tons and tons of viewers, and this kind of kicked off this arms race, this like nuclear arms race of Coomer content. So a lot of other creators started to try and find creative ways to deliver sexual content on Twitch. I made a follow-up video where another streamer made a green screen ass stream where she would play a game and her ass was green screened, so the gameplay was only on her butt cheeks. And I'm not gonna lie, some of it was extremely creative, watching a lot of these women scramble to find loopholes to broadcast their poop holes on Twitch. I started to get inspired myself. I was theory crafting ways on how I could get involved, started considering buying a green dick sleeve so I could broadcast my Rainbow Six Siege gameplay on my erect penis. I was in the lab cooking. I was like a mad scientist, Cockenheimer. I was coming up with all kinds of interesting ideas, but ultimately didn't do anything with it. But since that last video I made on this subject, it's only continued to spiral more and more out of control, which has prompted Twitch's response here, which shuts down this entire branch of content. And if you've been paying attention on Twitch, some of the most popular streams over the last 10 or so days have been streams like these. This next clip I'm about to show you is from Asian Bunny X, but I can't find the original broadcast or clips. I can only find Wubby's clip when he was going over it on stream, so I'm going to play you Wubby reacting to it. This stream is blasting all of your senses here. It's a full-blown sensory overload. I can only imagine where she's going to be in a year from now once the gamer smell box comes out, which allows you to smell games. She could easily integrate that into her content here, where you can smell her, like her sweat. If she farts, start huffing her fumes through the gamer scent box, like the sky is the limit. The future has never looked brighter. Like, there is so much going on right there. So she's standing on the automatic jiggler, which Wubby points out. So it's got her whole body vibrating and it's got her butt cheeks bouncing around like they're caught in some kind of perpetual earthquake simulation. She's oiled up with an extremely tight bikini on, which looks like some high-level armor out of an MMO, and it also functions as a green screen, which she's broadcasting a video, so that way your attention is always on her honkers, and her milkers happen to be jiggling around because she's on like the fucking wave simulator, like it's like she's on a surfboard constantly getting hit with turbulence or something. There's just so much going on. There's also Helldivers 2 gameplay somewhere on the screen there. I already forgot where, because nobody's attention is going to that when everything else is happening there. But yeah, you get the point. There was a bit of a problem on Twitch when it came to how much sexual content was starting to pop off there. So Twitch stepped in and said, okay, enough is enough. Heavens to Betsy, we've got to rein this in and get it under control. So they just made a blanket statement that any kind of content that focuses on intimate parts, that refers to breasts, that refers to butts, that refers to groins, anything that focuses on those areas for a prolonged period of time, which is a little vague, but I imagine it means like a matter of minutes, or if like there's an entire cam dedicated to your ass, it's not allowed. Period. Point blank. That is a bannable offense. Now, as I mentioned, this isn't anything super new. Since the very beginning of Twitch, there's always been this game of cat and mouse with sexual content and what is and is not allowed. And I'm not trying to go all old man on you here. I remember when they first invented Twitch titties. But I do remember back in the early days of Twitch, there was a policy that made it so gameplay had to be on screen in order for it to be allowed on Twitch. They didn't have a just chatting category. So if any creators wanted to do anything sexual, what they would do is they'd put a little RuneScape gameplay in the tiniest little box imaginable and just grind an AFKable skill like woodcutting and make the primary camera cleavage. And then you know how the rest of this story goes. You know how that anime plays out. Eventually just chatting gets introduced, and then eventually the creation of the hot tubs category gets introduced, and now Twitch has been having a lot of issues with sexual content on the platform. They had that policy a couple months back where they just allowed full-blown hentai, which is just drawn porn. They were totally fine with drawn porn for like 24 hours before they were like, whoops-a-daisy. That was a bit much, huh, guys? And now they're starting to get to this point where creators are starting to cross a line where it's getting to the point of like, there's a lot of softcore porn on Twitch now. And I'm very curious to see what kind of creative ways people will find to get around this policy change, because I don't think this is going to get rid of sexual content on Twitch overnight or anything. But I do wonder how they're going to navigate this now. I do think it's always going to be prevalent on Twitch because that content is so popular and there's so many people on Twitch. There's clearly a huge market for people digesting that kind of content with colonoscopy cam and all of that. So I'm just wondering what's next. How are they going to invent another meta post Twitch policy change here? And I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That's really about it. See ya. If you've been on the internet for any length of time, you're familiar with an ancient enemy, a boogeyman as old as time itself when it comes to the internet's cyberspace age, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I'm certain you've heard that name tossed around like Voldemort's name in hushed whispers, and it's usually followed by vomiting and fear. The DMCA has been this iron fist that goes into the ass of anyone that uses the internet in any capacity, really. The DMCA is a primitive, archaic copyright law that was put into effect in 1998 and hasn't really seen any changes since. It is extremely out of touch and overbearing, just absolutely fucking disgusting in its current form, just the biggest piece of shit. In a nutshell, the DMCA comes from the corrupted cockhole of the music industry. The idea was they wanted to prevent piracy and also to prevent people from taking copyrighted music and playing it for free or playing it to make money off of it in certain situations. It's not the worst of intentions. They wanted to make sure that their artists were protected and that they were getting paid for their work. That makes sense, right? But it's the way they go about enforcing this that is absolutely absurd. Downright tyrannical. It's like some kind of supervillain out of comic books, like something the Avengers would unite against. It's truly terrible. To give you an example, I remember there was a channel a while back that had a home video go viral. I don't exactly remember what it was, but it was something like a baby was singing in the kitchen, and you could hear 5 seconds of a Prince song playing in the background, and the whole channel got taken down because of it. They got fucking DMCA stone cold stunnered out of existence. I wouldn't be surprised if the DMCA tried to press charges on them and sue them into bankruptcy for having the audacity of playing music. I mean, they make it seem like it's a crime to hear songs. And to go even further, it's not even just having recorded music play. I remember there was a period on YouTube, it didn't last too long, where some of the Let's Players were getting strikes for humming copyrighted songs. One big one was the Halo theme. There was a channel where a guy was a big Halo fan, and he hummed the Halo theme during a Let's Play and got striked for it. It is absurd how far the DMCA goes in this lunacy in enforcing these archaic rules that just have no business even being applicable to the modern internet. And why I'm talking about it now, why it's relevant, is because on Twitch, it's absolute pandemonium. Every Twitch streamer is facing the DMCA firing squad right now. There have been a lot of DMCA bans on streamers, a lot of strikes being issued, and it's just been truly chaotic. And now you hear that and you go, well, Charlie, it's a pretty easy solution, just stop playing music during your streams. And yeah, that's easy enough to do. I mean, granted, it takes away something from the stream just having background music, but you know what, that's not the biggest deal in the world. But it's actually a lot worse than that, because it's not just having recorded music played during your stream. The video games that streamers will play oftentimes have music in them, and that music is oftentimes copyrighted, and people have been getting DMCA strikes for music in the games they play. Destiny 2, for example, has a song that was not licensed by the game. It was made for the game, and it was taken by UMG elsewhere or something like that, and streamers were getting strikes or muted because that song was playing in the background when they were going through Destiny 2's tedious grind. So it's really just absolutely absurd what's happening with that. There's no way to really avoid that except for just avoiding any games that have any music at all. And if you think I'm exaggerating, I'm just going to show you 2 quick examples. Here's a streamer that recently got muted because the sound effect in one of the games they had was a copyrighted sound effect of a grandfather fucking clock. Granted, this isn't a DMCA strike, so their channel is still fine, but that is still a massive headache to just have a big piece of the stream muted because there's a fucking clock sound effect in it. And it's the same for this example right here, with this streamer getting muted because of Persona 5's police siren going on. Now, these aren't strikes, mind you, but the reason I'm showing them is to show you just how crazy things are getting on Twitch. There have been big streamers getting hit with DMCA strikes, such as Moxie being a big one who just got banned for DMCA strikes. Another one, Voyboy, banned because of music that he was playing during League of Legends. This isn't something that's only happening to small streamers getting shit on by the music industry. Moxie, Voyboy, the two quick examples I gave there, those are massive channels that got taken down because of DMCA strikes. And it's not like recent infringements on the DMCA system. They got banned for year-old clips, year-old VODs that they went back through and just blasted their tight little assholes for. It's just ridiculous. Like, I don't know how anyone can justify this kind of overbearing enforcement. Now, if there's channels out there that are dedicated to just taking new musical albums and just playing them for free on Twitch or wherever for 24 hours and soak in subs and donations, then yeah, there's clearly something wrong there that needs to be explored and taken action on. But the way that it's going right now, if a car drove by right now with the windows down blasting the new Billie Eilish song, I would probably get hit with a DMCA notice. I'm very confident in saying that. I'm pretty sure that would happen. It's just stupid. Now, it's not all on the fault of the DMCA for the Twitch shit in particular. Twitch themselves is a lot at fault here. They have a lot of blame to shoulder because the DMCA just says, this needs to be taken down. It doesn't say anything about the channels being taken down. They could just take down the VOD that has infringements on the DMCA's policy. It's Twitch that goes the extra mile in banning channels for a DMCA notice. So Twitch has a lot of responsibility here and a lot of shit that they need to fix in regards to this. Otherwise, they're going to lose a large portion of their streamers. They actually are. This is a huge deal. If you can't safely play games on Twitch, all of those streamers that play games, which is 98% of them, are going to switch to something safer like YouTube that does have DMCA figured out, where you don't get banned for having a song play in a video game. What could happen is you get copyright claimed, but then you have a way of appealing that. So there is options there. YouTube is clearly superior when it comes to handling the DMCA. Twitch just lets themselves get face-fucked by the DMCA and get used as a fleshlight and bent over and spanked and disciplined and just spit on. I don't understand why they won't just stand up for the streamers in regards to this, because they don't have to ban people for DMCA notices. They can just take down those parts that infringe on that shit. It's just laughable how Twitch is handling this. Here's an excerpt from their statement about it. Their advice is basically, stop having music play at any point during your streams. If you have a game that plays music, mute that portion. If you have music that you want to play, don't do it. That's their solution. That's how a child would handle something like this. You know, you get called to the principal's office because you've chewed gum in class, and then the principal's like, hey, can you not do that again? You just, like, start crying and, you know, fucking snot leaking out your mouth. Yes, oh, I won't do it again. Okay, okay, please. Twitch has no fight in them at all here to stand up for their platform. And this is a huge blow to Twitch, because if you can't fucking play games on Twitch, which is the cornerstone of the platform, you're not going to have a whole lot of streamers on there. Now, what's really got me wanting to talk about this is I recently played through the Spider-Man Miles Morales game, and there's copyrighted music that plays frequently in that game. And apparently, my channel's at risk for a DMCA hit because of it. Just because I played Spider-Man with the music not muted, I now have to worry about my channel. Do you know how absurd that is? I also played Call of Duty Cold War, and they had a lot of copyright songs in there. It's like the fucking game companies are trying to just slap streamers around with how much DMCA-able music is in their games, but, I mean, it's not their fault. They have the license, and they're welcoming people to play their games. It's just Twitch and the DMCA that's making it such a headache and so scary. But the point is, having just played 2 new games, now all of a sudden I have to worry about my Twitch channel that I've had for a couple years now. And I just don't understand how that could in any way, shape, or form be interpreted as okay, or, you know, the norm, or should be acceptable, because it's just ridiculous. To play a game and to have to worry about getting striked because there was music in that game, that makes absolutely no sense. The way Twitch recommends doing this is muting the music in every game you play. That's just, I can't believe it. I really can't. This is an archaic law that does obviously need changing from an industry that is so beyond out of touch. I wouldn't be surprised if they start DMCAing individual people and taking them to court if they walk by a bar where you can kind of hear some music playing at it. It's just dumb. It's so fucking dumb. The music industry sucks ass. Obviously, that's nothing new. We all agree on that, I imagine. So much terrible shit goes on in the music industry. But this absolutely needs to change. Either from Twitch or the DMCA. DMCA probably won't change it because they don't even know what the internet is. But Twitch needs to change how they enforce DMCA. They have to. They absolutely fucking have to. And I just wanted to vent about this, go on a little rant, because it's just such a goddamn headache. And that's about it. So yeah. Twitch just announced a policy update change that was so surprising that I felt I needed to do something shocking just to get into the same spirit. So I threw my hair into a messy man bun. Surprise! Twitch announced that it's going to be loosening its policy on sexual content, trying to give clarity on what is and isn't allowed when it comes to sexual content on Twitch. And they are announcing that you can now have deliberately highlighted breasts, buttocks, or pelvic region as long as this stream has a content classification label, which is a label that just lets users know that there is sexual themes present. And as long as the content is artistic, nudity is permitted. As long as it's artistic in nature, it has Twitch's stamp of approval to exist. New York Times gives it 2 thumbs way up from the Twitch headquarters as long as there is artistic context around the nudity that is presented. So Christmas really did come early for hog squeezers this year, and it also applies to animated depictions of nudity, drawn, sculpted, modeled, any of that, and even goes beyond that. There's also a guideline update to what dances are allowed when it comes to like sexually suggestive dance moves. They stated that twerking, grinding, and pole dancing are now allowed without a label. I mean, for some reason, when I read this, I just envisioned them doing like a press conference, like the president coming out, he just stands at the podium, twerking, it's okay. And then like some people start clapping. Now, while they may have explained that these dance moves are allowed, there's still no word from the Twitch higher-ups on whether or not my special dance moves will be permitted, or if they're still a little too hot for Twitch to handle and will lead to an instant ban. Yep. The hot dog hoedown. Charles White classic. Oh, what's that? A Habbo Hotel True Combo? And then the last major change they announced is that they're going to be revising how the homepage recommends content, so you won't be seeing mature recommendations on your homepage anymore. These are pretty much all of the major guideline changes that have been presented, but I want to get into the weeds of them because there's quite a lot to unpack. First and foremost, though, the reason why all of this has come out is in response to a controversy that's been going on for like the last week or so on Twitch. I'm sure most of you have seen the headlines. There's been a new Twitch meta that blew up on the platform where some women would appear to be topless on stream and do certain movements in order to make their titties jiggle. Though you couldn't see the nipple, it was implied below the camera frame. So you just saw the top of their bare necessities and everything else was assumed nudity, implied. Branch of content. So again, basically, as you saw from the picture, it was appearing as though she was completely topless and would interact with the chat and then sometimes do like certain movements to really get the boobies moving. In the words of a wise man, them thangs be thangin'. And this led to a lot of discussion on, is this allowed on Twitch? What is Twitch's policy when it comes to content like this? Does this have the green light or is it flying under the radar? What's going on? So this prompted Twitch to make these guideline changes to bring clarity to it. They did ban Morgpie as well as a couple other streamers who did this type of content, this meta. But then they came forward with more clarification on what they permit. And that's what we just went over today. Before diving into my perspective, giving you my opinion from my small little noodle brain, I do want to mention 2 quick things. The first, our podcast is somehow the number 5 biggest podcast in the world on Spotify. We're starting to catch up to Joe Rogan, bite at his heels here. The Red Thread is a podcast that I run with Windigoon and Jackson. It's all about cryptids, conspiracies, cold cases, and cults. I just had to quickly mention this because this had me smiling all morning to see the Red Thread pop off like this. I'll put a link to the Spotify in the description as well as the YouTube channel that we post all of it on, in case any of you are curious in checking it out. And then the other thing I want to quickly mention is that our Dungeons & Dragons campaign, our Dungeons & Dragons show Skill Check, we decided to stop streaming the episodes because it created so much confusion on where people can find Skill Check since I don't save VODs, like I don't save any of the VODs. Instead, we just post the videos to the Skill Check YouTube channel. So going forward, no more streaming it. We're just going to drop the videos on the Skill Check YouTube channel every Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST. So there's going to be a link to that channel in the description as well. Alright, that's all for the updates. Let's get back to the Twitch policy. I will say one change that I think is a massive W no matter how you spin it is that they'll no longer be recommending mature content on Twitch's homepage. I made a whole video about this. If you go on Twitch when you're not logged in, a few of the top recommendations, no matter what, even on an incognito browser, a fucking brand new computer, anything, some of the top recommendations are always sexually suggestive content. The number one being Taylor Javot. I made a whole video about that, where she's usually body painting or like doing squats for subs. Mainly her big thing was stalling to get to that, but it always recommends sexually suggestive content when you go to Twitch's homepage. So the fact that that's going to no longer be the case, I think is a good thing, because Twitch is a website that is used by a lot of underage people. It's not exclusively used by kids, but there is absolutely a lot of kids on there, make no mistake. It's a 13 plus website. Like, you have to be 13 to sign up. So it is clearly a place that's accessible to kids. So it's good to no longer have the mature content being pushed right in their face on the homepage the second you go there. But now let's get into the messiness of it. The policy change around artistic nudity is a certainly interesting direction for Twitch to go. Because if you go on Twitch right now, and I don't even think I can pull up the current browser here, like a picture of it, because there is so much furry porn as well as naked anime girls on the thumbnails, because that's what people are drawing on there right now. It'd take me like 20 minutes to censor all of it to show it, so I'm not going to bother. If you go on there at any point in time, though, going forward, I imagine you're going to see a ton of porn, like hentai, being drawn. I'll show you Jake Lucky's tweet, because he already did the censoring. On the art category right now, every single stream in the top 15, except for 2, are naked anime characters being drawn or naked furries being drawn, which is totally permitted by Twitch's new policy. They're not breaking any rules, they're playing it by the book, it's all above board. Don't hate the player, hate the game, and I'm hating the game a little bit, I'm gonna be honest. It feels very weird to have that content live under the same umbrella, the same platform as all of the other non-sexually explicit content. Like, it just feels kinda out of place. I hate having to default to stating this kind of argument, but Twitch is a 13 plus platform. It feels weird to have an 18 plus category be immediately accessible by just going to the number 6 most popular category as of right now, me making this video, and immediately having access to porn. That's just kind of weird to me. Yes, it is labeled, so when you try and watch it, it gives you some kind of sexually suggestive warning, but you can still immediately see it in the thumbnails. It's still right there, and it's right there at your fingertips on the same website as the non, 18 plus stuff. I don't have an issue with them allowing artistic nudity streams to exist, but it should have been spun off into its own separate place as opposed to being under the same umbrella as the rest of the streams, because I really feel like it's totally different. Like, I just don't think the two should coexist in the same space. It should be separated. So yeah, I'm definitely not a huge fan of that direction there. I've always said that Twitch probably wants to make an 18 plus category because there's a lot of money in that, which is fine if that's the direction they'd want to go, like having the adult Twitch category or something. They still haven't fully done that, but it looks like they're tiptoeing ever closer to it. But it really needs to be a totally separate category that isn't just easily accessible from just the regular Twitch experience that you can get to with a single category that is number 6 right now. Like, it needs to be far more separated. Now, that's the main one I wanted to talk about. I'm very curious to see how all of the other policy changes are going to, like, what they're going to lead to, I guess, because to me, it seems like a lot of it's easily exploitable by some bad actors that are probably going to just try and drive Twitch audience to their porn. Like, it feels like a lot of this is just going to make it a little messier on the platform when it comes to that kind of practice, but it remains to be seen. Maybe giving this clarity is helpful in avoiding that somehow. I'm just not entirely sure. The only one I'm sure on is that I don't really like that now you can just immediately get hentai just from going to the fucking top categories. That to me is just weird to be on Twitch. But yeah, anyway, that's the whole Twitch policy hoopla in a nutshell. That's about it. So yeah.
Twitch has finally done it. They've finally gone full EA with their recent announcement of loot boxes that will contain temporary emotes except for the zombie Kappa face, which you can pay over $50 to ensure you get permanently. to this ad marathon that's occasionally interrupted by Yu-Gi-Oh! Just watch this fucking clip. I feel like I'm watching an ISIS beheading video. I can't help but just recoil in disgust and close my eyes. This is at the end of the episode, right before the credits. They play an ad, then they let the credits roll, and they play another ad. Twitch is playing their own game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Here, but the only card they have in their deck is Pot of Greed. Throughout the marathon, there's been an ad break every 5 to 6 minutes, and that's not an exaggeration. That is a genuine statistic for this marathon. I tuned into the stream again after seeing the clip I showed just a second ago, and I got the exact same ad set, and then I got 3 more throughout the episode. Inundated with ads. TV's not even that bad. Twitch is trying to have their cake and fuck it too. This is absolutely just pitiful, laughably bad. I don't think I need to explain why they're taking so many ad breaks, but Jesus, you couldn't have a more blatant display of greed if you tried. And it's sad because there's a lot on that site that needs fixing. But instead, the majority of the Twitch staff treat their site like it's fucking my free cams. I don't even want to go into horny, so he needs to get banished to the fucking Shadow Realm for this bullshit. But one thing I am excited for, and one thing Twitch made very clear to me, is that loot boxes are going to infect everything. A literal money virus in every aspect of entertainment. In fact, I actually think it's going to go a step further. I'm looking forward to the day where we see grocery store loot boxes where you don't pick out your own food anymore. Instead, you get a loot box which gives you 5 commons and a rare. Commons will be your cheap potato chip bags. Rare could be fruits and vegetables. You might get lucky with RNG on your side and roll a legendary, which would be some meat. So you'll be spending a lot on loot boxes to get food in the future. I also predict pharmaceutical loot boxes just around the corner as well. So yeah, the future is looking great with loot boxes, and Yu-Gi-Oh's never looked better with Twitch bukakiing it with ads. But honestly, the Twitch Presents Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a fucking disaster that sucks ass queefs, and I wouldn't recommend watching it under any circumstances unless you like this screen right here, or just a general fan of advertisements. That's it. See ya.